Fam, what's up? Good morning to you. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for joining me on this fine April 2nd. It's Tuesday. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Run the thumbs up on these videos and let me know where you guys are watching from. I appreciate you guys so much. And thank you for being a fan funder. Thank you to our sponsors, Residence Inn in Ocean City, Maryland. The promo code is LPR. Get 20% off. You got the rogueshop.com. The promo code is Bama. And a sponsor by the name of Demetrius Maynard, basically a sponsor like you that just wants to sponsor the show. So we appreciate all of you guys. And you know, as we dive into the month of April, it's really amazing if you step back and you understand that we're still talking Alabama basketball. So the call-in line number, it's open all show, 205-850-1994. If you want to call in, you can call in right now and chat with me right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I'll get to the shout-outs in a minute. List where you're coming from. I want to run them out today. Today, there's some big storms moving through the state of Alabama. I was just reading up on that, and I get it. Like, the storms are so serious in the southeast, so please make sure that you guys are safe tonight. You know, all of you guys certainly important to me, and, you know, I know sometimes you have, like, a storm anxiety that comes with it, so just, you know, I have a weather radio. I learned a long time that a weather radio does wonders, so, you know, take care of yourself tonight. I know those storms are blowing in. Looks like the afternoon time, but I appreciate you coming through with it this morning, Jay Townsen. I see you inside the comment box, man. I love the new avatar. Look at Jay Townsen rocking the undefeated gear. He's got the hat. He's got the shirt. He's like, good morning, Kyle. Roll Tide from Round Rock, Texas. Coach Sean hit me up yesterday. We're rapping about this week. By the way, Coach Sean, he's got some family obligations Tuesday, Thursday, right? And we're talking yesterday. And then he asked me, he's like, I need to figure out where to stay in Tuscaloosa for next Saturday for A-Day. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, you know, I need a good hotel. He's like, I like my rest. So he listed a couple different options and I helped him out. So Coach Sean will be rolling through, really have a full court press. Remember, in the next couple of days, you have the Alabama Coaches Clinic, which is rolling through here the 5th and the 6th. So if you're a high school football coach out there, definitely, you know, make sure and sign up to come here. Coach Kalen DeBoer and his staff and their new overall message to the coaches, you know, from around the country. I always thought it's always amazing the amount of coaches that come in for the Coaches Clinic, or it has been under Coach Saban everywhere, right? So I know a ton of high school coaches, and for them to be able to come and see Alabama, right, bring their prospects, but hear kind of the overall message is always an amazing opportunity. So if you want to sign up for that, go to the University of Alabama's homepage and look for football and, you know, sign up for the Coaches Clinic. What's up, James? I see you inside the comment box. You got the Georgia avatar, man. That's what's up, man. I mean, rep your team, rep your city. Let me go through a couple of these shout outs this morning as we get the show going. Cynthia, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. I always love your avatar. It feels good that, you know, like, I don't know, like that looks good. And you have the old truck in the back. Ruben, what's up, man? Good morning to you. Thank you very much for being here. It looks like you're doing like some sort of active, you know, something crazy like I would do. Let me know what that is. You're working out. You got number 75 on. That's what's up. Nicole, good morning to you. I really appreciate you being here. Good avatar game as well. Steven, what's up, man? I always appreciate Steven because he always hits me up on Instagram. And you're always like checking in, you know, hey, Kyle, you know, people are waiting for you on the show. What do you want me to tell them? So really big fan. Rocket Town, what's up, man? I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. James, good morning to you. Thank you very much for being here. What's up, Kim? Happy Tuesday and roll tide to everybody. Jared up in the house, always coming with it. Jared, I appreciate you. Got really good graphic skills, and Bino coming to us for the 251. What's up to you? I appreciate you being here. Ryan, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Paul, good morning to you too as well. We got the sports podcast, always checking in. Ryan coming in from Sumter, South Carolina. Raise the bar. Good morning, fam. What's up? I appreciate you being here. Kyle, recognized Kyle coming to us from Fayetteville, Tennessee. Oh, that's cool. Glenn Martin, what's up, Glenn? I appreciate you being here. And let's see, we got Glenn is from Rocky Mount, Virginia. That's cool. That's what's up. I like this one. Hood Jesus Debo. Finna clock in to work, but I'm taking the day off, and I'm a Roll Tide Nation. I appreciate you. Todd, what's up, man? And Jorah's like, Daddy's home. Kyle, I'm staying at the Hampton right by the school. First time going to Tuscaloosa, super hyped. That's what's up, man. Enjoy yourself. So the places that I would recommend to eat at, clearly, like if you're in the mood for sushi, you got to hit up Chuck's. Probably, one of the best places. If you're looking kind of for that soul food, there's plenty of, meat and threes to do your thing. T likes, her meat and three spots. I could go either way with the meat and threes. I'm trying to think. Full Moon is very underrated. And then, of course, if you're like looking for some really good Mexican food, Antojitos is a spot to go definitely check out. James is in Augusta, man. Well, you're going to be busy, man. I hope you're renting your house out or at least seeing the Masters, which is next week, right? Same day as A-Day. Danny, what's up, man? Good morning to you. I appreciate you being here. Roll Tide from Pittsburgh. Jared's saying 29 thumbs up, and we have 89 watching. Yeah, we got to boost those numbers up. All right, so look. On this whole Parker Brailsford thing, Parker Brailsford, center who transferred in from Washington to Alabama, was absent at practice, which was a scrimmage last Thursday. Now that news was broken by Tony Tsoukalis of Tide Illustrated, who does a really good job. Out of all of the writers, he really has some good nuggets, right? It's kind of been disappointing to follow kind of the news thereafter. I was able to confirm that he wasn't at practice. We have no idea why he wasn't there at that scrimmage. And, people have kind of ran with it a bunch of different ways, but nobody has really given Tony his credit in terms of like he was the first guy to report that. There's been, more news about that he wasn't at practice on Monday. And I think, at this point in time, he's not practicing. He's not injured, so he's healthy. So why isn't he at practice? I think the writing is on the wall that, he's trying to figure something out, which is fine. Imagine being, 20 years old, coming from Washington, here to Tuscaloosa. You lose your offensive line coach. I don't know, whatever it may be. I mean, look at Caden Proctor. I mean, he hasn't officially, signed paperwork to come back, but he's coming back. Whatever the case is, I think we go easy on Parker Brailsford no matter what he decides. If he decides to transfer, wish him well. I think that at this point in time, you got to find which program suits you best. He's been with Coach Kalen DeBoer. He started every single game last year for Washington and did a fantastic job. So we don't know what's going to happen with him, but I honestly hope that he figures things out for his own self, right? You ever been like really caught up in a huge decision, trying to figure out like what to do? The best thing to do is make a decision and surround yourself with people around you that can help you make that decision. So Parker Brailsford, man, we love you. And we hope that things work out for you, whether you stay here at Alabama, whether you move on, whether you just need some time to compartmentalize everything. That is fine, man. You do you. Take care of yourself up top. And you have support from everybody here in the Undefeated, but we'll keep you posted on the actual news that unfolds. But he hasn't been at practice on Thursday, and he hasn't been at practice on Monday, and we will keep you posted on what happens right here in Tuscaloosa. Todd, what's up, man? Todd is saying give KD credit for hanging out jobs, the kids from UW. You know what, this is a really good point. I think when you come here, and I was talking about this yesterday. Oh, and by the way, I gotta talk about something. I gotta talk about my son in a second. This kind of ties in with it. So we're not promised anything, and we're like, entitlement does not exist, right? And I think that Coach Kalen DeBoer could have just handed out starting spots to guys who were on his team last year, right? A Jeremy Bernard, a Parker Brailsford, a Josh Cuevas. I know Austin Mack is, new to the program, but he could have just been like, I'm over here, whatever. No. I think he's wanted these guys to compete. And that was something that even Coach Kapilovic spoke about. And it kind of ties me into, this next photo that I'm about to show you guys right here. And I'm sure if you guys follow me on Twitter, you guys probably already saw this. So let me set the stage. And this is like what I'm talking about is entitlement, okay? Because we're not entitled to anything, nothing. Not health, not wealth. I always talk about this. And it kind of helps me too. Like everything happens kind of, you get things based off, sometimes it's timing. Most of the time it's off your own merit, which I like. And so I have to tell you a story. So my son came to me the other day, and he was like, hey, my son is 15. You guys have seen him a couple times on the show. And how would you feel if I got a job at Chick-fil-A? And I was like, Caden, I was like, I would make me really happy. And so he goes and they hire him on the spot. Okay, here he is. And he gets hired. And yesterday was his first day at work, which was cool because he has the work mentality, which I'm really happy about. He's 15. I started working at 15 years old. We've talked about him working in the past, but what I like is the fact that he wants to work. He's motivated to work. And it comes down to like that entitlement thing, right? Sure. Like it's my responsibility to take care of him as my son, just like I do my daughter, and set them on the right path, right? Be there for him, be here for both of them, right? Make them breakfast, love them, everything, right? But this right here, thank you, Morty. There's no shortcut to greatness. There's not, right? So what I said, is up top. I said, when you can't see it, but I said, and I explained it to him, and I posted this message. The things that you work for mean something more, right? Like when you're given something, you don't really value it, but when you've worked for something and you've earned it, it means so much more. So I love that mentality, and I'm really proud of him. So, for everybody, out there doing the grind, I love it. I respect it. By the way, definitely watch Josh Pate tonight at 24/7. Yesterday, Andy Staples had Coach Kalen DeBoer on his show on On3. That was a really good interview. And then tonight from Tuscaloosa, I think Josh Pate is coming down to Tuscaloosa, and he will be doing his live show from the university. So like I said earlier, we're expecting some bad storms, but, I think it'll be fine. So expect, more greatness from Josh Pate. I'm sure you guys already subscribed to his YouTube channel, so definitely check that out right here on Bama Football on YouTube. What's up, Catpool? I see you inside the comment box. Yeah, I'm sure the show is going to be lit for sure. We go to the phone lines this morning, and we start with the 512. Jay, what's up, man? I appreciate you calling in. Welcome to the show. Hope you're off to a fantastic Tuesday, man. Come with it, man, and welcome on in.
Good morning, Cal. Roll Tide to you.
Yeah, roll tide to you too, man.
I want to start out about my thoughts on Parker Brailsford. I think this is just my feeling. Okay, Maybe he's a young kid. Of course, he came there with the feeling that, hey, because he was the second best center in the nation last year, that he was actually just going to walk into a starting position. And like you said, Coach DeBoer, he said this early. Every position is open, and we know that Jalen Milroe has already won the starting spot as far as the quarterbacks. But from the beginning, Coach DeBoer said everybody's going to be competing.
Yep.
And now Buckenmeyer is giving him some serious competition.
Yeah.
And he feels threatened, and he feels like, well, maybe I need to go somewhere to where I can just walk in and start. That's just my feeling. Okay. What do you think about that?
I think, and we're on with Jay Townsen calling in from Round Rock, Texas. I think you're absolutely right. I think, look, say what you want about Jalen Milroe. He has earned that starting spot at the University of Alabama. I get it. This is a whole new staff. He's earned it, right? Like what he's done, he's earned that starting spot. And it is Jalen Milroe's responsibility to retain that starting spot, for the rest of the season when the season starts. But he's going to be the guy who takes the first snaps in that first game, and it's up to him to retain that spot. Now, with everything else, it's kind of open for business. I think that the competition within all of the positions is going to separate people, which is fine. And you want that. You want competition because competition makes it better. And I don't know if this is the case with Parker Brailsford, but if somebody beats you out, that's sometimes how it goes, and how you process that, it kind of dictates not only something about yourself, but it can make you work harder. It can make you go somewhere else where maybe, you find another spot to play, but it's not the end all. And whatever happens in the springtime, I think that there's going to be some seldom starters that leave spring football, but nothing is finalized in spring. Everything is finalized like a week or two before the first game of the season. And still it's fluid because of injuries, of, players underperforming, but like nothing in spring. I would never, like wherever you are in the depth chart or like this make-believe depth chart in spring, don't leave. Battle. Work hard. You still like August is another position battle month. So, and credit to James Brockemeyer. That kid hasn't said anything. I haven't even seen him post pictures on social media. So if he's out here just kind of in the trenches, working hard to retain that spot, to win spot, you're right. And you know what, Todd? That's another great point. This isn't Washington. And that goes for the coaches as well. Look, everything is perfect right now because of this team is 0-0, right? But when the bullets start flying, this isn't the Pac-12. This isn't Eugene. This isn't, Oregon State. Like there's a big difference from when Georgia is coming to town for the SEC game or when you go on the road to Tennessee, to LSU. Like that's going to even be a wake up call for Coach Kalen DeBoer. You got to be ready for it. And I think he is. But this isn't Washington. You're not in Kansas anymore. Like this is elite. This is right underneath the NFL. What else you got, Jay?
Yeah, one thing I admire about Brockemeyer is he stayed the course. He's been there for a few years, and he hadn't gotten to start, but he still has stayed and stuck it out.
Yeah.
So I admire him for that. But as far as I'm going to shift to basketball, I used to be a basketball coach. Okay, I've been watching the NCAA playoffs. Okay, we got our hands full this next game tonight. Yep. I'm going to be locked in. Now we got to play almost a perfect game tonight. We got to play defense. But what my feeling is, we've got to go inside more. We need to get their big man in foul trouble. Yeah. That's the key, I think, to controlling this game is play perfect basketball. But most of all, go inside. I know we love shooting 3-pointers, and if we go inside, the way they used to play basketball, okay, where I was taught, you go inside out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
You get that big man in foul trouble, and then you can play however you want to play.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about him getting rebounds. You don't have to worry about him blocking shots. Just get him out of the game. Now on Purdue, that game at Purdue, I'm not a Tennessee fan by no stretch. Okay. Yeah. I'm always wanting to see Tennessee lose. But I want to see a fairly called game. And that was the worst officiated game I have ever watched in my life. The big man, he's good for Purdue.
Yeah.
But he played a full half in a physical game and did not get one single foul. Not one in the first half. That was absolutely ridiculous. Now, I saw a hoax on yesterday saying that the NCAA president had reversed the game for NC State and Duke.
Yeah,
and I was like, wow. What got me? It was on Google, and I didn't think about yesterday was the 1st of April until later. I was like, so I made a statement about that, and then I came back and corrected it. But what I wanted to say yesterday, I made the mistake of saying that everybody wants to see Purdue and UConn in the championship. I retract that. They want to see Purdue play whoever they think is going to be UConn. So I'm not going to look. I'm not going to say that UConn is going to beat us. If we play well, we'll beat them. That's about what I got to say.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, Jay. I'll answer you on the other line, man. I appreciate you calling in. And hey, by the way, before you go, I love the avatar with the undefeated hat and the undefeated shirt. So we appreciate you supporting us as always right here in the undefeated, man.
Oh yeah.
That's what's up, Jay. Jay Townsen calling in from Roll Tide to you, man. Jay Townsen calling in from Round Rock, Texas. We got a 256 and 832 coming up next right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Look, what Jay's saying, I think you're right. I mean, you look at the UConn matchup with Alabama. I think it's clear that the majority of people would love to see this Purdue team get in with their 7'4" monster. Remember, Alabama already played Purdue. Alabama's schedule overall was a gauntlet, especially early in the season when this team wasn't playing their best basketball of the year. Right now, Alabama clearly playing at the highest level that they have played him. And I think Jay just made a mistake. He knows the game isn't Tuesday. The game is on Saturday. So I know you guys were talking about that inside the comment box. It's amazing to think that UConn will be, is trying to be the first team to win back-to-back since Florida did it back in 2006 and 2007. Tristan Newton, clearly a baller, but that 7'4" monster, Donovan, Clingan, he's expected to be a lottery pick. I think on the flip side, what we're watching for Alabama basketball in this Final Four matchup is, will Wright-Sell play? It's looking kind of more up. And in fact, by the way, Alabama is flying out today to Phoenix at 1:45. So if you're in Northport, the Tuscaloosa area, and you want to see an airplane fly off, or go outside and hold up your phone, it's at 1:45 p.m. Central Time. That's when Alabama is flying out to Phoenix, Arizona, for their Final Four matchup, which will be on Saturday. This team overall, it's been amazing to see them, what they've been able to do. I think Mark Sears has clearly been kind of the catalyst of the guy, but you've seen other guys rise up. Nick Pringle, he had a double-double in last game, 16 points, 11 boards. How about off the bench? Jaron Stevenson comes in with a career high 19 points and 5 threes made against North Carolina. It was Grant Nelson who completely balled out with his incredible performance. So, look, I think UConn, Alabama's the underdog, 1,000,000%. With that said, I mean, you look kind of like Greg, who called from Athens, was saying, watch the game against Creighton. Creighton was able to get hot on the outside, and that's how they were able to beat UConn. If Alabama's hot, and they're more physical than I think a lot of people have given them credit for, right? They're not frail. They can bang a little bit inside. This guy's going to be a problem, though. 7'4" monster. He don't play. All right, next on the line is a 256. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is Daryl from Huntsville.
Hey, what's up, Coach? I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much for joining us on this fine April 2nd, man. Take it away and welcome on to the show.
Yeah, I comment on Brockemeyer. If the reports are true that he is the center in waiting to be named, he deserves all of the credit because he came in as hyped as you can for a prospect, him and his brother. And his brother's medically unable to play football and had transferred. But when you come in with that type of hype and your father's an all-conference, all-American, played in the NFL, there's got to be a lot of pressure on that young man to start and to play. Yeah. And he probably hadn't, that I can remember, he probably hadn't played 50 snaps in his career. And yet he stands on the verge of being the starting center for the University of Alabama. That tells me something about that young man. It tells me something that I think that he's going to excel. He's going to be one of our next great linemen. I really believe that. Because if you got that stick to it, I know that's not a word, but that's the only word I can think of. If you got that type of gumption, when you go out and face the other teams, and you go out and you play for your university, you play for your family name, you play for your brother and your brothers at the Alabama Crimson Tide, man, I can't wait to see him play.
Yeah,
I can't. I mean, I'm excited for him. I really am, because he deserves it. He's worked hard. He stayed the course, and a lot of people would either did two things: they transferred, they quit football. I had enough football. I'm done with it.
Let me ask the undefeated. This is an interesting question. Let's think about this all together. By the way, T, what's up?
Hello, undefeated.
Wait, try it.
Can you guys hear me?
There we go.
You hear me?
Yes.
Hello, undefeated.
What's up, T? We appreciate you. Yeah, we appreciate you being here. You know what? Let me ask the undefeated something. And this is for you too, Coach Daryl. I already know who I'm going to go with on this. Okay. Who have been players within the last 5 seasons I guess, the college football world has really changed over the last 2 seasons, but let's just say 5, 6 seasons, who have been players to wait their turn for just like 1 season or 2 seasons? What are players that stand out to be like patient behind the scenes? 2 for me. One is like the OG of staying patient was Mac Jones. Mac Jones just stayed, and then honestly, if you look statistically what he was able to do, that was an incredible season run. Plus he threw like 77%, right? So, okay, everyone is saying Mac. You know who else is another one? And I'll get to you, Coach Daryl. Chris Broswell. Broswell could have left. I mean, he was waiting behind William Anderson, right? But I mean, he waited his turn as well, and I can't wait to see where he goes in the NFL draft. But I think Bros kind of stands out to me. What about you, Coach Daryl?
I got 2.
Okay.
Najee Harris and Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry was on his way to Florida State until he had a conference with his parents and his kin, and they got together and said, "Look, we don't quit. You stick it out." Because Derrick Henry signed with the University of Georgia, and the reason he transferred when the season was getting ready to start, the coaches came in and told him they were going to move him to linebacker. That's why he transferred to the University of Alabama.
Yeah,
and so he was on the verge. After that first year of going, he was just about at the door of Florida State, and his grandmother, his advisors, and his family said, "No, you're gonna stick it out." So those are my 2: Najee Harris, and of course Najee. Najee was the same way. He had a decent, he had a coming out party in the national championship game. But he was ready to transfer, and he had a talk with his mother. His mother got him to stay. So those are my 2.
You know what? This is a great one, too. Jarvis Mitchell inside the comment box saying Devontae Smith. This is a great one.
Yeah, that's a good example.
I love this one. Because Devontae Smith, think about the guys that he was rolling with at the wide receiver position. Like, he was so overshadowed, and nobody knew. Oh, I love the story. Levi Wallace. I hope they do like a 30 for 30 on Levi Wallace. But like with Devontae Smith, like he just knew that he had it. And with him coming back, he had that. It just took 1 season. So kind of my point is all it takes is 1 year, specifically at a school like Alabama. Like it just takes 1 year, just 1 season, couple games. All the eyeballs are on Alabama, all the media on Alabama. It just takes 1 season. So, the grass isn't always greener, and it just takes 1 season. Coach, you want to make a final point before I get to my next caller?
Yeah, let me make a quick point so you can let somebody else roll in with you. I'm going to say again, when the game Saturday night, I'm looking forward to it. And I think, again, I want everybody to realize that there's flows and ebbs in any type of sport.
Yes.
And if the flow is not going our way, stay the course, and I believe we can win the game.
Yep.
Always a pleasure, Clive.
Yep. All right. Take it easy, Coach. All right. My good buddy Daryl from Huntsville coming in with it. We got looks like we got Angel from Pigeon Forge. Hang tight, Angel. I'll get to right back to you in 2 seconds. Yeah. I mean, you look at kind of the patience of the players that have been here, right? And the guys who have waited their turn. I mean, it just takes 1 season. And sometimes, think about this. Even though you're not playing on Saturdays or you're not getting, the snap counts, you're still at practice battling against the best every single day. So kind of coming back to like how this started, this conversation, talking about Parker Brailsford, trying to figure out what he is going to do. And we wish him the best. Like, man, this is a tough situation. Like, what do you do? Whatever. We know he missed practice on Monday as well. And you have a story like James Brockmeyer, a guy who has just kind of stayed in the lab. I love these type of like underdog stories. Like, you kind of just wait your turn. You have that hunger, and here we are. I don't know. And what does that mean going forward for the transfer portal? Just wait. Like all this stuff right now, the transfer portal is here in 13 days. I can't even imagine what's going to happen on the transfer portal. We're going to have full staff on transfer portal on April 15th. It's going to be crazy. Bananas. That's 2 days after A-Day. So you're not going to have A-Day, right? All the players who played, who didn't play, and then on April 15th, boom. Like that's right away. So
Quick turnaround.
yeah, for sure. So Coach Kalen DeBoer is going to have his door open Guys going to come in, talk, Ooh, I like this, Jermaine. Before I move on to Angel, Q Robinson. Q Robinson has been here for a long time. I've always thought he did. He looked really nice. He's been looking nice, right? Even Keanu Cole. He's another guy who has kind of waited on his turn. So I don't know. We'll have to see. But there's a lot of storylines about guys just being patient. I love that. Here we go. We got Angel from Pigeon Forge. Angel, I know we didn't get you in yesterday, man. And I appreciate you being patient and calling back today on Tuesday, man. What's up, man? Welcome to the show, and thanks for being here. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm gonna be real quick though. I'm really excited for this Alabama basketball team to go to the Final Four, and it's just crazy, man. I'm on top of the world, but I know they got to play UConn, but I can't wait. And then also for two of the players that waited their turn was Brian Robinson and Jake Coker. If I'm not sure if you remember Jake Coker, who was behind Blake Sims in 2015 or 14, and then 15 he started when he had that quarterback battle with Barrett and Bateman. So yeah, I really do think that they were really good players too, and we just gotta wait and see. But and also on Saturday too, it's gonna be crazy. Who do you got on Saturday?
Look, it's UConn's 35-3. I never really do like predictions or anything like that. I think that what I do know is fact is that UConn is out of this world good. Alabama is the huge underdog. But look, basketball,
11,
is it 11 points? Are they an 11-point underdog in this game? That's crazy. Jarvis, are they?
A couple days ago it was.
Oh my, that is crazy. I love that. That's good. No pressure. It's 12.
Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy. And what about Purdue and NC State? What's that one?
Let's see.
That's crazy. Okay, so
11 and a half and 12 for us.
that's crazy. So, but the positive is Alabama basketball. I keep coming back and saying this. They're playing their best basketball, and they're playing as a team. That's crazy. So 11 and a half.
They peaked at the right time.
Purdue is 9 and a half.
Yeah.
9.5. So Purdue 9. Damn, man, that's crazy.
They picked up the right time.
Yeah, they did for sure. And you're having and I don't know if writes out what he adds because this team is already hot. I don't know. We're at the Final Four. We're here, but I don't want fans to just be happy with getting here. Let's win the whole thing. Why not? Go for it all.
Yeah.
But
win it all because last year was a disappointment.
Yeah, and I think, but I think like this Purdue team on the other side, man, they're elite. Everyone's elite. They're more than elite. This is the Final Four. So, but don't stop now. Keep pressing, and I believe
they
that.
Got it right.
Yeah, I believe that Nate Oates can cook something up. The math, just keep shooting. Man, UConn, what an opportunity to play UConn. Alabama basketball, they've arrived. Make a final point.
Want all the smoke.
Yeah, make a final point, Angel, before I move on.
Yeah. The biggest player that's going to have an impact is two players. It's going to be Mark Sears and Grant Nelson, and of course Pringle too. Mm-hmm. But you got to have Wrightsell to make those threes, and Stevenson, because when he exploded in that game against Clemson, we need everybody on deck. Because this is one of the biggest games. The pressure's not on Alabama. It's actually on UConn because they're this unstoppable, invincible team. But to be honest, nobody's invincible. Yeah. But that's all I got today. Kyle, roll Tide, roll. Can't wait to see UConn. We want all the smoke.
Yep.
That's all I got for today.
All right, man. Take it easy. I appreciate you. All right, we'll take one more call, and then we got Ty Hayes coming in from Around the Table Sports 770. What's up?
We got a super chat from William.
Oh, and we got a super chat. Hey, Greg, right? Hey, is this Lucas?
Yes, sir.
What's up, Lucas? I appreciate you calling in, man. Yeah, welcome on in. Make a quick point before we get to Ty Hayes, man. Welcome on in the show. We really appreciate you being here. And before you go, William, thank you so much for that super chat. $9.99 said maybe this Final Four run sparks the drive for a new arena. I know people want a new arena. All right, Lucas, come with it, man. Welcome to the show, and thanks for calling in. Go ahead.
All right. I would say about the recruiting for Alabama, I would say I'm not worried about the recruiting, but we need to pick it up a little bit now. We will fall out of the recruiting cycle, because when you have the Buckeyes is on fire, we need to pick it up. So, but then again, I got one more. And then the Washington, the dude from Washington, I can't think of his name, but like the center,
Parker Brailsford.
Man, if you don't get his dogs right, just let that dude go. I hate to say that, just let the dude go. Because we don't need that, right? We don't need that. If he don't want to participate with this Bama team, if he doesn't want to get that right, just leave. Because we can go into the portal and go get another guy to put behind. And so, like he's not going to be the starter because Bartemeyer is that right now he's ahead. And I think he's going to be our center, but he needs a backup. So if you don't want to be the backup, just leave. We can go get somebody else who wants to be the backup, who wants to be there. So if he wants to leave, just leave. Because we don't need that right now.
Yeah, I got you, Lucas. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining in on the back end of the show, man. Have a good rest of your day, man, and roll tide to you.
Roll tide.
All right, that's our buddy Lucas calling in. Next up, we got Ty Hayes from Around the Table Sports, our morning segment. Welcome on, Ty Hayes. Ty, what's up, man? Appreciate you being here, man. Welcome to the show. It's Tuesday. It's April 2nd, man. Welcome on in.
Well, thank you for having me. How you doing this morning?
Good, man. We're kind of chopping it up about twofold. This whole Parker Brailsford thing, again, he was absent from practice on Monday. Usually where there's smoke, there's fire. But I was saying, this. I mean, sometimes I think people are quick to become adversarial against, people, for this or that. And I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think that, with a player like this, I mean, I don't even know if he's 21 years old or whatever the case is. I mean, these are probably tough decisions for all these guys to make. So, look, if it doesn't work out for him here, maybe something else. But, also, and I don't know if this is true, but don't be scared of competition. And I think that goes for everybody. Whatever business you're in, it actually makes you better. And sometimes when you don't win the spot or you don't get that job promotion, it keeps you a little bit hungrier, right? Hungry dogs run faster. You ever seen the movie Rocky 3? Right? Clubber Lang, he had that desire, right? And what that desire was that eye of the tiger. That is why, and Rocky lost that. And here I go, T thinks, and this is how I see Rocky. The Rocky series to me was real life. Okay. It was not make believe. Like every single thing in that movie was real. That was a real movie. And the mentality of it, and he was hungry. He had the eye of the tiger. That's how he was able to come from nothing to be able to get to that stage. But when he became a salary employee, he fell off and he lost the eye of a tiger. Clubber Lang never lost that. So Clubber Lang, was able to, get the throne by staying hungry, staying in the lab. Danny, what's up, man? I appreciate you being here. Nice hair inside the avatar comment box. So competition makes the product better always. And one person who loves the competition is Nate Oates. And what he's been able to do with his basketball program has been really amazing. And a good sign of a coach is when people start to pluck your assistant coaches because they can't get you and you're still continuing to win. Like he lost some marquee assistants. He lost some marquee players. He lost Brandon Miller, right? He lost some marquee players and he's able to still get this team. I don't even know. Last year's team might be better than this year's team. I don't know. Let me ask you the undefeated. Before we start talking football here with Ty, was last year's Alabama basketball team overall like head to toe better than this year's basketball team? Or am I tripping? I don't know. It seems like they might, but that team peaked too early. This team is peaking now. I don't know. What's kind of your take? We've talked. This is the second time we'll be talking about this ties. This whole Parker Brailsford thing, the center situation. There's moving pieces, and what's kind of your take overall, and where things stand with kind of the fluidity of this Parker Brailsford situation.
So we made the video talking about the report that was out that he wasn't there at the first scrimmage. A little bit of hints in some reports that maybe the transfer portal is on the table. But here's what I would say. There have been countless situations where teams or fans of teams worry about a player not being at practice, and then it comes out that they had some family deal, and it's just that the university wasn't at liberty to disclose that. And until they get back into the fold, they're not disclosing it either. So I always like to adapt a wait and see approach. At the end of the day, listen, if Brockermeyer is doing his thing, that's a net positive for Alabama. At the end of the day, you know, the cream rises to the top. But I think that until we get anything official, it's just kind of wait and see. Now, the question about basketball, what I would say is I think last year's team was more talented, but I think this year's team might be better cohesively together as a unit. And I think that's where they succeed.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point. I mean, you look to what this team has been able to do over even just the last 2 games. Let's take the games against North Carolina and against Clemson, right? 2 teams from the ACC, 2 elite teams, and 2 different style of teams. I mean, I don't think North Carolina had nearly the defense that Clemson had, and I think against Clemson you had to have you had to be more physical. I think Clemson was the most physical. That's why I like the Elite 8 win, because Clemson was the most physical team that Alabama's played probably since Florida beat the brakes off them. And they were able to showcase that they're not frail. Against North Carolina, that was just an ultra talented team. I mean, they have some absolute ballers on that team, you know, all the way up and down. But this team overall, they're playing like a team. The ball rotation, guys coming up at different points in time when other players aren't, you know, hot. The play of Jaron Stevenson off the bench was electric, scoring 19 points. Mark Sears was named the West Regional Most Valuable Player. Nick Pringle throwing the clipboard down, pissed off, playing out of his mind. 16 points, 11 boards in this last game. You know, the whole right cell, will he come back? Will he, you know, who knows? Aaron Estrada, this is his 4th stop. He's been from Hofstra to Oregon to St. Peter's to now Tuscaloosa. He's made a hell of a journey, and he finally found his place. So this team is playing like a team under Coach Nate Oates. And, you know, who knows what's going to happen on Saturday? I don't know. They're clearly the underdog. They're 11 point, but who cares? You know, that's it.
I think that can be a major positive.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, basketball is a lot different from football, right? Like there's teams that could never play each other man up in football. They just can't, right? In basketball, I mean, you know, who knows? I mean, it's just 5-on-5. That's it. I mean, that's not to take anything away from this UConn team. This UConn team, they're bad. They're trouble for sure. 35-3 in 38 games. That's crazy.
They're insane. They are such a good team. Watching the March Madness that I've watched, UConn, they stand out like a sore thumb. There's no 2 ways around it. Now, that being said, they're beatable. Everybody is beatable. I love the caller you had whenever he was talking about how Alabama isn't the one with the pressure on them. It's UConn. Alabama is exceeding expectations. They're playing a great brand of basketball and they're having fun. UConn is the one that they're expected to win. It's actually interesting, Kyle, because it's the reverse of what we've seen with the football team for so many years, where Alabama had to manufacture this underdog mindset. But in reality, let's be honest, the pressure was always on Alabama because whoever they played, Vegas wasn't picking them to win. They were the underdog. So it's interesting, this delineation between what we've seen from football and what we've seen from basketball and how Nate Oates has been able to weaponize that underdog mentality. I'm really excited about this matchup.
And a great mentality that he's taken is he's labeled this team like a blue collar mentality. He came in with that because that was a really good mindset to have, right? You always get like the blue collar award, and you know, the team wearing, you know, they're like the blue collar, you know, crew. He has something special going on. If you're out there and you're Alabama football, basketball fan, I know you've had time, but just like sit back and enjoy it. Like appreciate this moment in time. This is the first ever, you know, sequence that Alabama's ever been in the Final Four. It's really amazing to step back and think about all the great teams. I mean, you could theoretically say, you know, based on where this team is, that this is the best Alabama basketball team that there's been.
Yeah. Sears has been playing out of his mind. I mean, you want to talk about maybe one of the most fun players in the country for me to watch. Sears has got to be up there. And I just think that the way they work cohesively, Nate Oates has figured out a formula. And I think that, you know, we talked about this yesterday, Kyle, how there is this comparative mindset between what Nate Oates has been able to do and what we expect Kalen DeBoer to do, where if you can coach, you can coach. Winners win. You find ways to attack and you exploit weaknesses. Who does that sound like on the football field other than Kalen DeBoer? Find weaknesses, exploit them.
Yeah. Yeah. And as we kind of turn the page to football right now, what are we watching kind of as we go into this week of, we're 13, we're 11 days now away from the spring football game. What themes are kind of emerging as you're watching this team at a glance?
So I think that one of the themes is growth from the quarterback position, specifically Jalen Milroe. Hearing how much Sheridan has been impressed, how much Kalen DeBoer has been impressed. Jalen Milroe is somebody that works his tail off. If you give him something to work on, he's going to be the first one in the gym, the last one out the gym. And this isn't new, ladies and gentlemen. I've said this previous times where I've had the opportunity. In fact, later today, I'm on a phone call with someone who knew his trainers here in Texas whenever he was in high school. And whenever he committed to Alabama, he hit me up and said, hey, y'all got a diamond. College football doesn't know about this kid, but he is special, not only in his ability, but as a person. He's a special person. You're going to have a lot of fun rooting for him. And he was spot on. Jalen Milroe is a special person. And Kyle, I wanted to get your take on this because Alabama has had a run of uncommon athletes at the quarterback position, but they've certainly had a run at uncommon human beings. You look at Tua, Bryce Young, Jalen Hurts, Jalen Milroe. I mean, you're talking about not only 1% athletes, but 1% human beings. And what a special type of player to root for.
Yeah, that's a really good point because each of those guys was just so different than the rest of like the college football ecosystem. They really were. It was crazy. Like you even looked to like Jalen Hurts and the mindset that he had. It was crazy. Like then you look to Bryce Young and how he handled himself. I mean, it was like ChatGPT giving interviews because he was so perfect. He never said it. It was like almost boring because it was like a computer generated response. So I don't know. When you kind of look to all these guys and then you put in Milroe. Milroe is so much different than these other quarterbacks because of his overall athleticism. Now, don't get it twisted. The athleticism doesn't mean he can be a quarterback, right? Like he's completely different than those guys. And I think he's, as Coach Kalen DeBoer said, he is tough to handle. We have competition in the quarterback room. Haven't really heard too much about Dylan Lonergan. He probably like shine on A-Day or something like that, ball out. But the quarterback room is stocked. I mean, some of the themes that I'm watching and continue to see is, it's kind of just been more about the offense a little bit, but I want to see like some defense and kind of dive in and see who stands out on defense. I think the defense, maybe the inside linebackers, like you look to Jahad Campbell and Deontay Lawson. I think those guys are going to be clearly the tandem, but who else beside them? We talked about that a little bit yesterday is going to rise up whenever they announce kind of the crimson and white rosters, which will be, revealed probably within the next, week or so, which secondary guys will stand up. And then after that, the bigger question is, who will Alabama go to and what areas will they need to fill up on from the transfer portal? Let me ask you this, Ty, right now, and this is to undefeated as well, okay? Today, if the transfer portal opened up today, what would be needs on offense and on defense? Like, I'm not talking players because we don't even know what players are in there, but who would you say, Ty, from the offensive side, who would you, like, what position would you want to go to the transfer portal to, and then also for the defensive side?
So I think obviously offensive line is going to be a talking point. And I know Caden Proctor set to return, but that has been a thorn in the side of Alabama's offense for 3 years now. It can be a thorn in the side no longer. It must be a unit that shows improvement. And you hit the nail on the head earlier. Competition is a beautiful thing. And if you can increase the level of competition, you're only making everybody better. I know a lot of people might say wide receiver, but I think Alabama's good at wide receiver. And Jalen Hale, he's going to recover. But even outside of that, I really love that room. I see a lot of people in the undefeated saying cornerback, and that's one that I'm going to be watching. If I'm not mistaken, there's still that kid from Arizona that hasn't committed anywhere, and he had a no contact clause. And that's interesting to me, the fact that he's still out there with a no contact clause. What does that mean? Remains to be seen. Maybe he's waiting until this spring portion. That way teams have a clear understanding of their needs. But I would say offensive line and defensive back is probably where you're going to see some moves made.
That's what I'm thinking too. I think offensive line, I think, the secondary, and I've been saying this for a long time. I think the secondary as well. I wouldn't do this to you. I wouldn't ask, and I wouldn't do this to anybody really, is to ask which players. And I don't want you to go out there and, say like these players should enter the transfer portal. No, they shouldn't. These players have the opportunity to be here and talk to their people, talk to their coaches, and figure out for themselves, what is best for them. So I think those are conversations that they need to have with their coaches. And the transfer portal is crazy, like what's happening and how it has changed college football. And it's like, if I could tell myself, like in the past, that the grass isn't always greener, like that's so true, right? Sometimes staying the course, usually always works out. Especially when you're here at Alabama, like you see all the media. Your boy Josh Pates, he's here tonight. Hi,
I know.
Yeah,
excited to see his interview. I think he's just
having a steak with Coach Kalen DeBoer.
That's gonna be so much fun. Now we have some Caleb saying something about maybe Richard Young transferring. Caleb, based on what I've been told, like I said the other day, if you give Richard Young an inch, he's going to take a mile. From what I've been told, he's been creating a lot of value for himself. Now, it remains to be seen what happens, right? The transfer portal. I've always said this about the portal, Kyle, because I'm a bit of a nerd, and Jance and I, we're cooking up something to do over here when the portal opens up. I think he's going to come in some sort of costume. I'm going to come in here dressed like Gandalf, right? We're going to have a great time. But the transfer portal giveth, the transfer portal taketh. So we don't know who will move, but I will say in terms of Richard Young, he's been turning heads. He is he's going to be a tough player to keep off the field from what I've been told. Really excited about him. And
didn't you say something about Daniel Hill too?
Well, Daniel Hill, they are just super impressed with him. Now, obviously, as a freshman, that goes with. But Daniel Hill has something as a freshman that 90% of freshman running backs don't have down at that level, and that's pass blocking. It might sound boring. It might sound mundane. I promise you, it's the difference between your quarterback hitting a 50-yard bomb over top and then getting smoked in the backfield. It makes a difference.
I don't know why it's so gratifying when you see a big play, right? And we're usually hyping up the receiver, right, who made the catch, right? But there's a lot that goes to it. The offensive line, had to have the protection. The quarterback had to, put the ball in the money, but usually in 6 protection with the running back there, there's some running back that risked his life against some 250-pound linebacker to save everybody, right? And I don't know, who was the best pass blocking running back that Alabama's had over the last couple of years?
Well, I'll tell you what.
Is it Najee?
Najee liked to knock people's heads off. Like he was willing. Alabama's had several good ones, but Nick Saban, that's one thing that if you listen, that has been the biggest detriment to freshman running backs playing isn't lack of ability. It's the fact that it's like, hey, I know I can trust you when I give you the ball, but can I trust you every other play you don't have the ball? Can I trust you to lay it on the line so that way Bryce or Jalen or whoever doesn't get absolutely lambasted in the backfield? Those little things seem boring, but they truly do make all the difference. Football's a game of inches.
I think kind of this last part before I get out and let you run solo, and then Smook will be here to run with you as well. But I always like to kind of end on this recruiting standpoint, because I know you follow it, and we talk about this all the time, and it's really early. Alabama has a really big opportunity this week again to host several visitors. There's a couple quarterbacks that have been in town recently, and then you have the coaches clinic. What are we looking for in terms of, prospects coming in? Is there any, key guys that we're looking for in terms of, a commitment watch? And who do you kind of feel who could be next?
So Wilt Fong actually just put out a crystal ball prediction.
Oh
For
yeah,
his,
but talk about Whitfong and kind of the
So,
significance of Don3 getting Whitfong.
I mean, that in and of itself is ridiculous. The fact that On3 has now assembled a staff that includes a lot of the guys they have and Steve Wiltfong. I mean, you guys know I've said it all the time. Wiltfong, he's the best. In the recruiting business, he's the best. And there's a lot of great people in the space. I mean, there are no shortage of spectacular reporters. On3 has a bunch of them. 247 has a bunch of them. Rivals, you name it. But Fong, Kyle, you know this. We in the content creation sphere have an adjective for whenever he inserts a crystal ball prediction. We have created an adjective just for him. Oh, you've been fonged. Oh, you've been. How many other people can you say that you create an adjective and everybody knows when it's like, oh, you've been fonged? Everybody knows, oh, they got a crystal ball prediction for so and so. That's insane. I think he hit at a 91% rate out of his like 3,000 picks, which is unbelievable. I mean, On3 getting him is a massive move. Shout out to Shen and Terry for that, because that's just smart business. Let's be honest. That's just smart business.
Yeah. And so I know they like posted that and they had like, I don't know, like 5 billion impressions on a tweet or something like, I don't know.
Yeah.
They're running the world at this point. And see, the thing about it is they went all in. I'm talking about On3 in terms of like the college football coverage, because let's face it, I think the ESPN, besides the bigger names that report on college football, they don't really have that interface. And most importantly, they don't have a community to support it, right? They just go off kind of organic clicks because of, the SEO and whatever they have, but they don't have any type of community. Whereas like On3 has that community and they've went all in on college football, whatever the case is. I wanted to ask you about that. I mean, when we look to recruiting, and I think Coach Kalen DeBoer has a great opportunity and to showcase what he has in Tuscaloosa with the coaches. I think so many times, like if you've ever been, I've been to some of the coaching clinics in Dallas before it was the AFCA, it was the American Football Coaches Association. It was amazing. It was a star-studded event. There was a ton of people there. And when they host these type of clinics here, you have the opportunity to continue to build those relationships. And that was the amazing thing that Coach Saban was always able to do, was he had such great connections with the high school football coaches. And I think that Coach Kalen DeBoer continues to get there. But his coaches, I can't wait to hear from some of our coaches inside the comment box or across the landscape about the new energy that they're, seeing right here in Tuscaloosa. Ty, before I bounce out, man, what else are, we watching in terms of the overall team? Let's talk defense. Like a main, is there someone that you're hearing at a camp that is, really been turning heads? Is there a freshman, that's kind of been making waves? I mean, what are you hearing? I know you talk to people. I do too. I'll release mine, but how about you? What are you hearing on the defensive side?
So, and this isn't going to be a surprise, right? I'll give you a few names. The first freshman, first off, all the freshman defensive backs, from my understanding, are doing exactly what's asked of them. They're learning, they're getting acclimated, and they're doing a good job, right? But they're freshmen. We need to remember that. But, and this isn't going to surprise any of the undefeated, Zay Mincy, to me, is such an intriguing prospect because of the positional versatility he brings to the table. You can put him out at corner. You can put him at several of the different positions in our secondary and feel good.
Yeah.
That's an intriguing ability to have. And the fact that he's been matched up with Jeremy Bernard, I think that is such a good one-on-one to go, because Bernard, 6'1", right? Taller guy, 6 foot. I just love that best versus best, right? Him repping versus Bernard, repping versus Prentice, repping versus Law, and that goes for all the defensive backs. But there is a name in the inside linebacker room that is really turning heads. It's not Agent Zero. It's not Campbell. They're understood. We know what they're going to do. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeremiah Alexander, who came to Alabama as a 5-star edge, transitioned to inside linebacker, just like Jahad Campbell, might I add. He was a 5-star edge, transitioned to inside linebacker. I'm hearing rave reviews about his ability, what he's been able to do in this defense. And that's great because it means that Alabama has something in that inside linebacker room where it's like, okay, we know Deontay Lawson's going to go to the NFL draft next year. He's going to be playing on Sundays. And so is Jahad Campbell. Who steps up? You're hearing about a Jeremiah Alexander, a Sterling Dixon, and you just wait until Justin Onkarwonkwo completely understands the game of football.
Man, yeah, those are really good point outs. And even look, I've even seen Caden Jones up in there doing his thing as well. I'm serious, because I've been like rewinding the tape, from the practice highlights that we've had or that they've sent to us, and I'm like, man, Justin Okoronkwo, Caden Jones, those guys, back in the depth chart, but I certainly think those guys are really impressive. I personally, before we get to Adam's super chat, and thank you so much, man, Keon Sabb, I hear that he continues to turn heads. That's why I asked you guys about it yesterday. Heard he is that guy and doing a really great job, in that secondary front. And I've heard really good things about Jeremiah Alexander as well. I don't want to lose sight of Keanu Coate. I think he's certainly on the rise. And then Q Robinson. I think those guys, adding some competition battles for sure. Adam with the $20 super chat. Hey, guys, who are going to be our edge rushers this year? I think our defensive line is going to be much better than last year. It's crazy you said that. I just said Q Rob and Keanu Coate. I think if Alabama played a game, this weekend or whatever, I think those two guys will be making a lot of plays. For Alabama, there's going to be some rotation based on like kind of the 4-2-5 formation. Ty, what do you think in terms of edge rushers?
Oh, I think you hit the nail on the head. And I said it yesterday. Yonze Pierre is going to be an interesting name to watch because of his his explosiveness is ridiculous off the edge. And in this new defense, it will allow him to attack. That's something I'm going to be watching during A-Day, how he's able to try and exploit. If there's a weakness at left tackle right now, how are you able to exploit that? And in terms, Adam, of the defensive line, I completely agree. Tim Keenan took a step forward. Jaheim Otis will be back in his more natural position after being moved around last year. Remember, they dropped some weight on him to try and get him out of his normal position to increase the versatility of the defensive line. But now you don't have to do that with LT Overton here, with Jamarian Latham, with Jordan Renaud, all kind of Keon Keeley manning that other side. You get to have Keenan and Otis do what they do best. And I think this defensive line has got a lot of ability. I think it will be a better unit than we had last year. And that's wild considering you had Dallas and Braswell last year.
I don't know. That's tripping me out to hear that. Cause Dallas Turner is like, he's crazy. And so is Bras, but I don't know, like based on this different formation, hey, New Mexico State's getting some love inside the undefeated chat box. New Mexico State, what's so amazing? It made me so happy. Not that I got turned down for credentials last year to Auburn. That sucked. But I'm glad I didn't have to go drive down there. But that the week prior, that New Mexico State beat Auburn.
I know.
You know what? You know how many times? Guess how many games New Mexico State, my beloved Aggies, have beaten SEC teams?
One.
That one. Yeah. That was it. And guess how many times I've seen them play here in Tuscaloosa? Twice.
Really?
My last thing. Check this out. I was talking about this yesterday. Did you guys know this about New Mexico State? Here's my New Mexico State fact for the day. New Mexico State, when they came out here in 2019, right? And they got paid $1 million from the University of Alabama. Well, the following year was COVID. Well, they didn't have the conference to go to, so they didn't have a season, right? So that $1 million that they got saved them. The next season, they had Alabama scheduled again and got paid 1.5. So think about this. Alabama football saved New Mexico State football. Isn't that crazy? Like, that's wild to think about. They also played Washington State that year and got paid like $1 million or something like that. It's crazy. So, but yeah, New Mexico State beat up on those Tigers. So that was nice. Ty, have a good segment, man. Hey, fam, please support Ty Hayes. Round the Table Sports on YouTube does a fantastic job right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Easy dude to work with, easy dude to listen to, super smart. We appreciate you, man. Loves the Alabama Crimson Tide, follows all of college football, does a great job in recruiting, has really good connections, up and comer on YouTube. So please support him. You can also follow him on Bleacher Report. Let me tell you the story real quick. When Coach Saban retired, okay, Bleacher Report reached out to Ty, and Ty gets on. He had 45,000 people watching Ty Hayes. So Ty's great, and we love having him on here on Bama Football on YouTube. Adam, thanks for the super chat. Also, thank you, William, for the super chat as well. We really appreciate you guys supporting us right here on Bama Football on YouTube, along with our sponsors. Ty, have a great segment, man. I'll catch you guys soon or as news happens right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Ty, take it away, man.
Thank you very much, Kyle. Thank you very much. And a shout out to Kyle and T in the background. I do this every time because it needs to be done every time. They have built a platform for Bama fans, by Bama fans, and it shows. It's the reason why we all get here and have almost roundtable discussions, and we're here for, at some point when Saban retired, 15 hours a day straight, just enjoying ourselves. That doesn't happen by accident. That's a lot of hard work. But hard work in and of itself isn't alone to make something like this happen. It takes a type of person. And Kyle has built something that will last, that people are watching because it's unique. Name me another team site out there that's independent, mind you, that has over 100,000 subscribers. If you can, I'm going to be very impressed because I can't think of one. And there's a reason for that. Kyle has done a sensational job over here. Not just Kyle. T in the background, holding it down, always doing a fantastic job. All the graphics you see, she makes, and they are amazing. And lastly, of course, everybody in the Undefeated. Listen, if not for y'all, I'd be sitting here talking into nothing. And you guys really make this happen. Your support, your donations, your fan funding, it really creates a unique storm whenever you combine the big three. And that's what I've come to refer to them as. The big three being Kyle, T, and the Undefeated. And it makes it a ton of fun. Now, as I see everybody in here, Ray, Cynthia, Rocket, how you doing? Matt, Adam, thanks for that $20, Adam. I really do agree with you, though. I think Alabama's defensive line is poised for a bigger year this year. And maybe not in terms of sacks from the edge position, because you're replacing Dallas Turner, Chris Braswell, but that interior. Tim Keenan continued to evolve last year. Jaheim Otis getting more back into his natural position. I really think that's going to be conducive to success, and I can't wait to see that. I think that's a big reason why right now, if you're hearing maybe out of Alabama that the offensive line might be struggling, remember they're repping against Tim Keenan, who's going to be a name to watch on pretty much every list, right? Whenever you have the lists that come out, whether that be from Pro Football Focus, ESPN, highlighting some of the players to know in every conference, Tim Keenan will be on that list. But that's what Kyle was referring to right before I came on. Competition is better for everybody. Had some questions in the chat I wanted to get to. Adam said James Smith could have a great year too. Yeah, it's James Smith, Edric Hill. You have a Payne. I mean, you have quite a few guys, Adam, that really started to come into their own at the end of last season. I've heard some real positive things about Payne, about how he's continued to evolve, continued to grow, understood the assignment. Alabama, I really am excited about this interior of their defensive line. I think it will be the best interior defensive line Alabama has had in a little bit. Jermaine asking, who on 3 had crystal balled to Alabama? That is Jaden Harmon, Rome linebacker from Rome, Georgia, 6'1", 205 pounds. If we look at 24/7 Sports, they have him at the number 218 player in the nation, number 26 linebacker, top player in the state of Georgia. If you look at On 3, they have him at a very similar point, 209 in the nation, number 22. And once again, one of the top players in the state of Georgia. And ladies and gentlemen, top 300, right? If you can maintain top 300 guys, you're going to be in a fantastic position recruiting. I know right now that there are some people who are concerned about the way Alabama is recruiting because you're seeing Ohio State really start getting some big wins. You're seeing some teams like that getting these wins. And there was a caller earlier this morning who said that. And I understand that mindset. I understand that notion. Truly, I do. But what I would say is this. I remember when Alabama was 65th in the nation in May. Went on to break the all-time record for top recruiting class ever. Now, you could retort back to me saying, hey, Ty, but that's a Nick Saban class. It's a little bit different. You are right. You are right there. That's fair. But I also know that Nick Saban classes started a little bit slow, whereas right now, Alabama's a top 10 class in the nation. I also know that Nick Saban was able to capitalize on relationships that were years in the making, as opposed to Kalen DeBoer and this staff that are capitalizing on relationships a month in the making, 2 months in the making, a week in the making. And that's something to think about. I mean, you're not having a bunch of running backs or defensive linemen commit. And the reason why I point your attention to running backs and defensive linemen is because that's the only two positions that have continuity for Alabama from a coaching perspective. You're having defensive backs commit. You're having linebackers commit. Those are the new coaches putting in work. We know Gillespie's going to get his. We know Roach is going to get his. Coleman came back into the fold, and that's unbelievable, no doubt about it. But Alabama's new coaches are proving they're going to be able to recruit too. But remember this, ladies and gentlemen, recruiting is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And it's easy to get disenfranchised into looking at an Ohio State or looking at a Notre Dame. Notre Dame has 18 kids in the class already. I mean, they have 7 spots that they will probably fill up and then utilize some of that room for the transfer portal. Bama has nothing but time and opportunity in front of them. There will be flips happen. Alabama's in a perfect place in terms of recruiting right now. I'm not worried about Alabama recruiting. If you land a top 10 class in Kalen DeBoer's first class, that's a huge win. If Bama goes out there and starts winning games and lands a top 5 recruiting class in the nation, watch out. And for anybody saying it has to be top 5, remember, Kalen DeBoer just walked into a national championship, and how many 5-stars did that Washington roster have? And that's not a rhetorical question. I'm genuinely asking, how many 5-stars did they have? How many blue chip 4-stars did they have? Guy can coach. Now he's in a position, and I said this the other day, and I always bring it to your attention because it's genuinely something that makes me laugh. How and myself included, I talk about how Alabama's rebuilding the secondary. Because it's true. I mean, technically speaking, Alabama is rebuilding the secondary. But I imagine that if I got the opportunity to talk to Hitchler or Mo Linguist, they would be tickled. Mo Linguist didn't have this many 5-stars on his entire roster that he just got freshman defensive backs. Let me say that one more time and really let this marinate, undefeated. Mo Linguist, coming from Buffalo, has more 5-stars that just came to him via the freshman recruiting class than he had on his whole roster. You tell him he's in a rebuild for the defensive back position, he's going to look at you like he just committed highway robbery with the talent he has back there. He's going to look back there and say, oh, these guys? This is a rebuild to you? Them? Fine, let's rebuild. You tell that to Hitchler. Oh, we're in the process of a rebuild. He's going to look back at that talent and say, this is your rebuild. Okay, let's roll. No, let's rebuild. Look, please. And it's true. They are doing a rebuild, but that's why I always say to quell the fears. Alabama is not a team that just doesn't have talent. They have the talent. Now, Shane, good point here. Fair point here. He says facts tie, but they didn't play an SEC schedule. Shane, this is what I will say. Washington was the only other team that had 4 top 25 wins outside of Alabama. And when it was all said and done, they had more because they beat Texas. So I think at the end of the year, they had 5 top 25 wins relative to Alabama's 4 when it was all said and done. It was an impressive team. Now, I do agree with you, Shane. I am pointing that out, but I do agree with your basic theory here, even though the Pac had ranked teams. And, it's ironic that on the Pac-12's deathbed was probably the best we've seen the Pac-12 since, the early 2000s. From top to bottom, the Pac was super competitive this year. Really fun football being played out there. I certainly watched every game I could. The Pac was a lot of fun this year. But I do understand there is a different style here, right? That being said, like Bama said, they beat Oregon twice. They beat Texas. They beat Texas. Bama didn't beat Texas. That Washington team was good. And Kalen DeBoer, he can coach. I agree 100% with this, Antoine. It's funny. I talked about this earlier with Nate Oates. Nate Oates is so fun to watch as a coach because he's looking at this and he's saying, hey, let's exploit weaknesses. Bama has not been in a position where they've had offensive play calling since Steve Sarkisian, where an offensive mind is really looking at a defense and saying, I am about to make you pay. It's not going to be slow. I'm going to make you pay from the first whistle, and it's not going to stop until the whistle hits zero, until the final whistles are blown. You're going to be in a real tough place. We are going to keep hitting you over the head and hitting you over the head until you just don't want to do this anymore. Matt, I love this, but I'm going to raise you one, my friend. I'm going to raise you one. Hope the weather in upstate's treating you well. Can't wait to get back up there. I'm going to raise you one on this one, though, Matt. Matt's Farm says Bama's rebuilding a Ferrari. And you're not wrong. Bama's rebuilding a Pagani Zonda. There are Ferraris out there. How many Paganis do you see rolling around? What do they have, like 30, 40 in any given year that they make coming out of that factory? This is a rare car now. This is a different type of car now. You can go to Dallas and see a Ferrari. You don't see Paganis. Alabama's a Pagani. They're a one of one. This is not a regular powerhouse. This is a different type of blue blood. This is an entirely different type of blue blood. This is a rare thing Coach DeBoer just got to take over. And he understands that. And he has embraced it. And that's why I feel so confident about what's to come. That's why I feel so confident about what's to come. Now, we were talking about some recruiting. I want to talk about a quarterback that Alabama had on campus yesterday that I'm going to be watching. Now, unfortunately, his commitment date is in 2 days. Okay? He has a commitment date of April 4th. Now, maybe he pushes it back. Maybe he doesn't. And in fairness, one thing we do know, just because you're committed doesn't mean anything. Now, that might be an uncomfortable conversation to have because, it's pervasive. It's all across college football. People are going to flip. Matt Zollers on campus yesterday, and I said this the other day, whenever I watch Matt Zollers, the word that comes to mind is fit. He fits what Alabama, what Kalen DeBoer want to do. Very talented quarterback. And I'll tell you the thing, if we're actually diving into his game, that really stood out to me. It's actually one of my favorite things I see from some of these young quarterbacks. You're seeing it more and more. Long as we're not building an SRT Charger, I'm cool. No, I don't think you have to worry about that, Jarvis. I don't think you have to worry about that. Ooh, Shane putting me on the spot. I'm going to star that, my man. We're going to come to that, Shane. We're going to come to that. Jarvis. I don't know why that just... And Ronnie, I don't know if you're in here. I don't know if Ronnie, you're still in here, but I saw your comment earlier, man. I held it together for the people, but you got me. You certainly, that's why if you noticed and someone else, they pointed it out when they told Ronnie, like, no, you got Ty. He's just trying his hardest not to show it. Yeah, I had to look down and pretend that I was in church so that I wouldn't break. But when I start talking about what Zollers brings to the table, there's a characteristic you're seeing from some of these young quarterbacks, and it makes sense as more access to better training comes out. You're just getting unbelievable stuff. Juju just committed to Minnesota. What is that, an April Fool's? That'd be wild. Just out of nowhere, right? That'd be insane. But speaking specifically of Zoller, what I love about his game is that he has an athleticism to him, where if he knows, hey, the pocket's breaking down, I need to escape. He can do that. He can do that. No, I figured, Adam. I figured. Wilt Fong just in a prediction for Georgia to land a wide receiver, making sure that it's not Bama. But the thing I love about Zollers is sometimes in high school, and this is something I'm sure everybody in the undefeated, if you've watched a lot of high school football, if you've seen a quarterback at the high school level that is supremely athletic, you'll resonate with what I'm about to say here. Sometimes at the high school level, you'll have these guys that are just unbelievably gifted, and they are the best athlete on the field. And if the play breaks down, they don't hesitate to saying, okay, I've waited 2-3 seconds. I can take off with my legs, pick up a first down, pick up a touchdown, and they do so. And there's certainly nothing wrong with that. But then there's a new wave of quarterback that's not new, but you're just seeing it in higher numbers. And these are these quarterbacks like Zoller, who whenever he goes to run, if you watch his head, he picks his head up and he's running while scanning downfield. How can I get that safety over there out of position? Can I get you to bite just a little bit and I'm going to put it right over your head? That, to me, is an interesting ability. Eye discipline. You know, earlier we talked about pass blocking for running backs and how I said that seems boring. It seems mundane. It's not the sexy attribute whenever you're talking about running backs, right? Like, we're talking about running backs and we want to wow some people. We're going to put on Josh Jacobs juking people. We're going to put on Kenyon Drake just straight up out running people. We're going to put on Najee hurdling people and then lowering the shoulder. But if we're talking about what seals the deal in terms of getting on the playing field, you're turning on running backs crushing linebackers coming to hit their quarterback. That's going to make the difference. That's truly going to make the difference. The same can be said with quarterbacks. You have quarterbacks that have the ability to take off and run. I can beat you. That's not the issue. But I know that if I'm a little bit more patient, if I'm a little bit more thorough, and I keep my eyes downfield, that defensive back's going to come up to account for my legs. That safety is going to come up to account for my legs. And I'm really going to make you pay then. And then guess what happens? 2 plays later, 3 plays later, 2 drives later, it doesn't matter. That safety is not going to come up to account for your legs because he remembers, hey, last time I came up, they had a 45-yard touchdown on me. That's not happening again. Well, now the quarterback's looking and saying, hey, you want to stay back there? Cool. I'm going to stove off. I'm taking out. First down. Easy money. Someone said Tua had that ability. Oh, we got a freeze frame. That's unfortunate. We're just going to continue working through because that's what we do, ladies and gentlemen. The Auburn Tigers are trying to hold me down, and it won't happen. Not today. Not today. Oh, that's a terrible view. All right, back at it. They can't hold us down. They can try. They can't hold us down. That's why I sent Blaze away to make sure that these fervent attempts don't continue. Uncivilized. The lot of them. But that's something when I look at Zollers, I love his ability. Now, I think we had a birthday in the chat, if I'm not mistaken. Demetrius Duggan saying, y'all, I turned 29 today. Anybody in here younger than me? You are younger than me, Demetrius, by a few months. I'm 29 as well. Adam with the $10 saying, Ty, why is Georgia ranked number 1? They lost their best skill players. Their defensive line last year was average, and their schedule is brutal. I think they're number 1, Adam, because 1, it's Kirby. You can expect a level of success with Kirby Smart. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean an automatic national championship. That's not my contention. I'm just saying if you were betting way too early on coaches that would be able to win 9, 10 games, Kirby would be one of the first out of your mouth. That being said, I've always been a little bit hesitant about preseason rankings. And the other reason why I think that's the case, Adam, is because when you look at the teams that made the college football playoffs, right? Michigan has lost a lot of talent off that roster and a lot of coaches. Washington has lost a lot of talent off that roster and a lot of coaches. Alabama lost Nick Saban. Texas returns. They returned Quinn. They lost their wide receivers. They lost their 2 interior monsters. So it's a little bit of an interesting year. I do agree with you, though. And let it be known here. I think Georgia is going to be a fantastic team. I think they have got unbelievable talent on that team. I think that they're going to be a good team. But I do agree with you, Adam. There are questions. There are questions about every team in the nation. But this is a Georgia team that I think you can have a few more discussions on than maybe previous ones. But that being said, at the end of the day, as much as it pains me to say it, I got to give flowers where they're due. And I understand everybody says Kirby and Georgia took the Alabama blueprint. And while that may be true, it is also impressive to be able to take a blueprint and successfully implement it. Because think of how many people have tried and failed. Right? Think how many people have tried and failed. You look at Mario Cristobal. And the second he learns when to knee a football, my God, they're going to be better off. Don't start. I can't start on that. I'm gonna come unglued if I start talking about that. That made me so angry. I can't imagine being a Miami fan, having the game in my hand, and then losing it in that fashion. I'd have broke stuff. Oh. And now, Jay, I can agree with this. I don't know who I would put at number 1. I don't know who I would. I'm not mad at Georgia being number 1. But I also think whenever we're talking about them being number 1, there's a nuance to this about like, okay, well, Michigan lost everything. Typically, you see the national champions be ranked number 1, but they lost a lot off that roster, from coaches to quarterback to some key talent. Washington is not the same Washington team. Okay, so that's the 2 teams that were in the national championship already. Alabama, I think people are sleeping on Alabama, to be quite frank, though I don't believe Alabama should even be ranked number 1 in the nation. Personally, I kind of don't like preseason rankings. Right? I just kind of don't. But it's an interesting conversation to have, no doubt. I understand people who said, hey, they shouldn't be ranked number 1. And then I also understand the argument of like, well, if we're going to do this silly preseason ranking, who else are you going to put there? Now, Adam, you said Ohio State. That's not a bad one at all. That's not a bad one at all. I think do I have more questions about Ohio State than I do Georgia? And the only reason why I asked that question, Adam, is because I have serious questions about Ryan Day. Not that he's a bad coach. I don't think that Ryan Day's a bad coach. I think Ryan Day's a good coach. But do I think that he is that guy? I don't know. That's a really interesting conversation to have, though. That is a really, really interesting conversation, Adam and Jay. Because I don't know the answer to that. But it's a fun conversation to think about. But that's maybe the only reason why I wouldn't put Ohio State number 1. I have far more questions about Ryan Day than I do Kirby Smart. And even if you're looking at the roster saying I have less questions about Ohio State's actual roster than I do about Georgia, that's a conversation, right? 100%, Jay. 100%. And you know me. We're college football fans over here. We're going to have these conversations. It's a lot of fun. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to talk Alabama football. I'm also here to talk college football. We are always going to have fun college football conversations. It's just what we do over here. Right? It's just what we do. OSU is better than... Jermaine, I don't know if I'd take a quarterback on OSU's roster over Carson Beck. Did you watch that quarterback play last year? It was abysmal. The quarterback play at Ohio State was abysmal last year. Not good. Not good. They had a solid defense. They had solid wide receivers, and it looked like a baby deer trying to walk. It left a lot to be desired. I remember in our Bleacher Report group, because we'd pick the college football games, I picked Ohio State to win that game, and I'm watching the quarterback play, and I'm just like, dear Lord, please, this is tough. So even if you think Beck is overrated, like, what quarterback on that Ohio State roster are you taking over him? Because OSU starting quarterback, he transferred, so now it's Will Rogers, it's Devin Brown, and it's Julian Sayin. And I think you have fair points, Jermaine. No doubt about it. I think that maybe Sayin's young though. He's got a lot of upside, but Will Howard, maybe in the right system. Oh, it's Will Howard, not Rogers. Thank you. I got the last names wrong. Thank you very much. Will Howard, not Will Rogers. That only negative of covering college football as a whole. Sometimes you'll get a name mixed up, but you knew what I went. I with Chip Kelly as the offensive coordinator. So no, it's a fun conversation to have, Jermaine. I certainly don't think that won't be able to guard a stop sign. Their defense wasn't bad last year. I mean, it wasn't great, but like, they certainly need more defensive improvement. Jim Knowles came over there. Really interesting defensive scheme. And I'm really interested to see how he's able to continue improving that defense. But yeah, the quarterback position, that's got to be improved. Oh, but they just have to worry about winning their conference. I mean, goodness gracious, ladies and gentlemen, if you think there's pressure on Kalen DeBoer, no. Kalen DeBoer gets to go out there and have fun. There's pressure on Ryan Day, and I don't think there's another coach that even pales in comparison to how much pressure he is under. If you lose to Michigan again, does he survive? And that's a question for the undefeated. As we go back into talking some Alabama recruiting, I want you to think about this. If they lose to Michigan again, will he still be the coach? And the craziest thing about this, ladies and gentlemen, is if I X'd out all the names of the coaches, if I just presented to you an Excel sheet that said Coach A, Coach B, Coach C, Coach D, Coach E, and I put all of their records there, Ryan Day's record would be one of the more impressive ones, where if I said that coach is going to get fired, the majority of you in the undefeated would rightly say, Ty, you're off your gourd. You've lost the plot. You're off your rocker. There's no way. But that's where the nuance of the conversation comes in, because like, hey, you would have lost to Michigan twice in a row without Harbaugh. And Demetrius, I do agree. There is a lot of gimmies on there. So I do completely agree with that. I do very much well agree with that. But need be gone. They put out for this year. I agree. Completely agree. So let's talk about another guy that we need to be on the lookout for. Has a visit scheduled to Alabama. That's Andrew Babaloa. Andrew Babaloa, number 26 player in the nation, the number 5 offensive tackle, number 1 in the state of Kansas, standing 6'6", 280 pounds. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again for those that, because we understand over here. For those of you that are here every day, I apologize if you've heard me repeat something multiple times, but the reason why I do so is because we understand that some people aren't watching or listening while they're at work. Maybe you had to go do something, you missed it, and I want all the information to be out there. I want it all to be understood so that way we're all operating from a playing field where we can understand, right? I always say this. My goal is not to be agreed with. My goal is to be understood. And if I have a point and you leave this stream saying, hey, I didn't agree with Ty, but I completely understand how he got from point A to point Z. Even though I don't agree, the entire process, his thought process was logical and it is interesting to think about, then I've just created discourse, and in that I've done my job. Being agreed with is nice, but I would much rather create thoughtful discourse than be agreed with, right? Because I think all parties are better off for it if we create an environment where there's thoughtful discourse as opposed to blind agreement. That's always what I'm after. Todd, thank you for being in here, my guy. So Andrew Babaloa, interesting name on the offensive line position. Now, what I was leading, the whole reason why I just gave you that soliloquy is this. I have been told by people who don't cover Alabama, people who cover an entirely different team in an entirely different conference, and they do so independently. They are someone that will interview these recruits. They will have them on their channel. They talk to them. They have group chats. They have Google Docs keeping up with all of this. They reached out to me. The same person that reached out to me way back in February and said, hey, Luke Metz really is interested in Bama. If y'all extend the offer, he's going to commit. Well, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. Same guy who told me that reached out and said Alabama is doing Alabama things on the trail, even without Saban. They're really moving the needle for several top offensive linemen. It's not being publicized, but when I talk to these guys, they're talking to me about Alabama. I'm asking them, how did you like visiting the team we cover? And they're saying, great, but I also loved visiting Alabama. That's notable. Whenever you have people who are in just doing great work, connecting with recruits, and they're saying, hey, we're hearing a lot about Alabama. So offensive line is a position to watch. Of course, Alabama needs to continue getting in wins. Yes, Jared, that's right. 6'6", 280 out of Blue Valley, Northwest, Kansas. Very, very talented player. Love this year's offensive line class. I think it's a really good offensive line class. I think there's a lot of names to know. Whether you're getting a Babaloa, right? Whether you're getting a David Sanders, there's no shortage of really good offensive linemen. I think that right there is really big for Alabama, for everybody. But Andrew Babaloa is having a visit to Alabama, and that's something we need to watch. Now, he is not alone. If you're talking about other top-ranked offensive linemen, Ty Haywood will be coming to visit the Crimson Tide sooner rather than later. We need to see. We need to see what that looks like. Ty Haywood being 6'5", 285, the number 25 player in the nation per the 24/7 Sports Composite, or top 247. Let's see where he ranks in the 24/7 Sports Composite. Ty Haywood's the number 3 offensive tackle in the nation. Number 21 in the nation, the number 7 in the state of Texas, plays right here in Denton, Texas. So Alabama has several options at the offensive tackle position, and I think that that's going to be an area where they really try and get some work done. I think they're going to try and get a lot of work done in that game. Not game. I was reading a comment and saw the USF game, and I think they're going to get a lot of work done on that unit. Coach Cap coming in here, you listen to the way Jaden Roberts talks about him, saying he has really sparked the offensive line. He has created a form of excitement that they think was needed, an edge, a juice, an intensity that may have been lacking. That's going to be something we have to watch. What does Alabama do on the offensive line department? Who do I think is the next to commit? Great question, Hunter. Great question. So it's tough not to say a Jaden Harmon at the point where Steve Wiltfong puts in a prediction. If you followed recruiting and you follow Fong, when he inserts a prediction, not always, but a lot of times a commitment follows fairly rapidly. He gets the best information out there. And if he puts out a prediction, sometimes commitments follow. So that's one I think we could be watching. All right, Jaden Harmon. He's almost always right, Hunter. Says, yeah, it's actually insane. I think when he was at 24/7 Sports Hunter, he was at like a 91.67 out of 3,500. Jermaine says Farrakhan should be next. He could be. He could be. The only reason, Jermaine, why I'm going Jaden Harmon is just looking at the totality of circumstances and looking at the way Steve Wiltfong usually times his predictions relative to commitments as the man himself, Coach Smook. How you doing, Coach?
Pretty good. Pretty good. How you feeling, bro?
No, I'm doing good. What do you think about this question? Who could be the next to commit? My answer, Jaden Harmon's one to watch just because you know how Fong does, right? He inserts a prediction. A lot of people... Jermaine says, but 247 has Harmon to Clemson. Jermaine, I trust Fong over anybody else. I trust Fong over anybody else.
You know what? I can't wait till I get a little bit more established in this industry, because the more I watch things happen and the more recruits I talk to, I see how the powers to be, the traditionals, try to like use media and their platforms to kind of sway a thought process. And but what's happening is in this new age of recruiting with NIL, you can't just assume based off of a kid's visits. You can't just assume off of that. So that's why you don't hear me speaking on a Cornell Farrakhan right now or Dijon Lee. I've had my interactions, or I've been able to speak with these young men, and based off of those assessments, those character assessments, that's when I start getting a feel. So when there's a report about them at another campus, guess what I do? I follow up. Hey, how was your visit? Oh, yeah, it was great. Da, da, da. And the language is not the same when they're speaking about Bama. You get what I'm saying? So, or another school, you know, because talking with Travis Smith Jr., I'm telling y'all, us in Georgia is like, so you'll hear me talk about what I know. A lot of these guys don't do that, you know, and Steve Whitfunk is one of those guys who has reliable sources with just about every major recruit that you can think of, you know, especially when it gets to being tied in with the recruiting landscape. So I follow some of his things, but I don't look to that. It's only, and like I said, I'm building in this industry. So my thing are Alabama targets, you know, Alabama interests and Alabama offers, Alabama targets. That's when I get into the root of everything. And to answer the question about who could possibly be the next to commit, I think there's three names that I'm looking at on the board right now. And there's Jaden Moore. Then you have Lincoln Cure, the tight end. I'm looking at him. I'm thinking he may pull the trigger. And then Cornell Farrakhan was one of them, but I'm not sure, man. That it's not that I don't think we're going to get him. I don't think there's a rush for him right now. Looking at the landscape of how Alabama is recruiting the wide receiver position, they clearly want to overhaul on that talent, you know, on that position group for whatever reason. You know, that whole pushes that agenda is a mystery to me. But Cornell and then the running back Jordan Davison, I feel like we may get a surprise early return or commitment from that young man out at Mater Dei. And then, you know, I feel like once one of those three, you know, if they jump and pull the gun early, I think we'll see like another snowball effect of maybe 3 or 4 more recruits will follow up within like the 3 or 4 day span and follow that lead, because it's becoming a thing now. It's not foreign to commit before July, you know. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, all three names interesting to watch. Now, Davison is interesting because if I'm not mistaken, I think Fong just put out an article that he thinks Ohio State is a team to watch there, which is interesting because they just now got a running back coach.
Yeah. And that relationship thing, and that's what I was saying, like a lot of these powers to be, I feel like they miss those small things sometimes. And with Fong, he's good on catching up. Like if he crystal balls something early and then changes happen in like 8 hours, he's usually on top of it. So, and we saw that with Ryan Williams. We saw how, he told us Ryan Williams was decommitted. We knew Auburn was in play. So before I was at a stage to say Ryan Williams is coming back, Whit Fong had went out and said, expect this. And, that's when I was like, all right, so I know what I heard and I know what I said. Now I'm going to call a commitment. And literally within 8 hours, we saw what Ryan Williams did. Everything that I had lined up and talked about, we saw him do it. So I'm learning from one of the best from afar. And I'm telling you, if I could ever get in that circle, we're going to be on one. I'm telling y'all right now, we're going to definitely be on one.
Yeah, that's why I think Jaden Harmon is a guy to watch, right? Just because they have him so highly RPM'd right now to Alabama. And Alabama, we know, is doing work at the linebacker position. It's going to be interesting. I also love what you said about the tight end, right?
Yeah, like
really,
Lincoln Cure. And I even think we might be making up some ground with Bram. What's his name? What's his name? Bram. Let me pull my thing up. I have a whole list of our what I determined as priority targets for Alabama and the commits. Well, you were about to say something about the linebacker position, man, and I don't think Alabama fans are realizing what we're doing in that aspect of recruiting.
Oh yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like the range and the type of linebacker that we're pulling and gaining interest from. Wide receiver and linebacker seems like to be the focal point right now. I don't know what that entails for the coaching staff and philosophy other than establishing dominance in space. You remember it used to be a time where you wanted to go ahead and knock out the trenches. I feel like this staff is taking a different approach and trying to adapt to overhaul talent and dominance in space with the space players, wide receivers, tight ends, linebackers. You see the safety play that we're trying to recruit. Like it's a lot of space eaters and athletes that can get in space and work. So I feel like we're changing the game when it comes to the style of how you recruit.
And not only that, but Duke Johnson has so much positional versatility that like he is an interesting prospect when you start talking about him because he can play a few different positions in this defense. And that makes it to where your linebacker recruiting is actually more opened up. If you have someone with that positional versatility, you can get in another linebacker, 2 more linebackers than maybe you would have because you're like, hey, what if he excels back there at one of the other positions and we can just really flex this defense? He is an interesting prospect to me in terms of that right there. But it's also something, Coach, we've talked about that this staff is identifying as guys with positional versatility and how that helps the recruiting class as a whole.
Right. And we saw it with Luke Metz and Abdullah Sanders. Like that was, to me, that just showed the initiative, like the clear initiative. And we can say, everybody can say, well, these are just 4 stars and all this stuff, or 3 stars. But these are highly talented athletes. Some recruiting.
And I'm already banging my fist on the table that Duke Johnson's going to be a 5-star once all the rankings catch up. They just are still doing it.
Oh yeah, and it's crazy because he purposely has his name 4-star Duke Johnson. Like y'all really labeling me a 4-star, and it is like his social media handle. I think that's what our connection was, like the chip on the shoulder mentality, underestimating me because I'm not doing it like everybody else. I mean, they're trying to lure him away from Dodge County, to a bigger program. But I told him, I suggest that when you're thriving, man, when you're in the system, continue to do what you do, because once you get to college, it's going to change anyways. So enjoy it. Keep the love and keep the joy. Now, if you want a challenge, go by all means, go to IMG. Go do one of those prep programs in your state and play on that different scale. But Duke Johnson is a dude, man. And I believe, pending early enrollment, this young man might be another freshman sensation to watch out for, to like make early impact. And it's a lot of them. It's a lot of them in that class, a lot of athletes. That's no slight at anybody in that class coming in that 25 class, but he's different when it comes to playing the linebacker, strong safety, Mike linebacker. I mean, off the edge, you can play him just about anywhere on the defense and get some type of quality production from him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Actually, and you know what? Not Alabama related, Coach. I don't know if you saw that cat USC got yesterday.
Yeah.
Matai Tagoai. Ladies and gentlemen, after Coach Smook's segment, go check out his film. Man, is he a heat-seeking missile? I know if you're a USC fan, you got to be excited about him. But speaking of a guy that's committed to USC, Coach, Justice Terry. Let's talk about it. What you thinking there?
And this is just some conversation that happened last night, and hopefully y'all can hear us, man.
Loud and clear, brother.
It was crazy to see him flip from Georgia, right? Then there's these new rumors and this new happening that there's a decommit from USC possibly happening. Is that what I heard? I don't know what to think with this young man right now. You know, me personally, y'all know my thoughts. You're talking about commit, decommit, commit again in a matter of 30 days. Like, you too much going on around that, and it's giving me. I don't know if y'all remember Eric Gilbert. Y'all remember and
Alexander.
You remember the Evans kid? You remember Zach Evans? You remember how that recruiting went? I mean, it was just too much going on. And that was before NIL, like before it was like legal. Now it's legal. So just imagine the headache that comes along with. But outside of that, talent on the field, imagine if he committed to Bama and was actually committed to Bama. You get what I'm saying? Like, just imagine it. That would flip some crazy, that would have a crazy effect on flip. And you got to think, Freddie Roach and Joe Cox are really on top of him. Well, Joe Cox is not there anymore, but Freddie Roach is in a different vibe now when it comes to recruiting. The way he's approaching the game now is different. Like, he's really, like, Zion Grady highlighted the fact, you know, the conversation with him and Freddie Roach. And you see Zion Grady's been very quiet since his announcement about talking back to Alabama. So that type of stuff is what gives me confidence with this recruiting trail. And a guy like Justice Terry would definitely be a solid flip if we were able to get that in attention and get something off of that. But I'm hearing some things about him decommitted from USC. So,
and not only Zion Grady, Coach, and I understand there's people in the undefeated wanting us to talk about. Y'all think I didn't set up this conversation on USC for multiple prospects? Come on now. Yeah, come on now. You guys know me. You know me. We've got it lined up. But I love what you said about Zion Grady, because I think a lot of that same mindset applies to a Javion Hilson who's committed to Florida State, who just said yesterday or the day before, was it, Coach, where he was like, oh yeah, Alabama's giving me something to think about. Alabama's right there with Florida State. And it's like, well, if they're right there with Florida State and you're just getting to know these guys and you're committed there, sounds like Alabama's in a good position. But Coach, going back to USC, you already know who I'm about to ask you about.
Listen.
Juju, what are you thinking?
My dude, I'm telling y'all, we might have 2 4- or 5-star rated quarterbacks in this 25 class. Juju Lewis, you already know my feels about him. I really think that's just a game that he's not necessarily wasting time, or it doesn't feel rushed. I think he knows what he's getting now. Like, the more he comes and has those conversations, because now it's not even about seeing the campus. It's about understanding the philosophy behind why I'm being recruited to play the quarterback position at the University of Alabama. That's that young man's mindset. But you got another young man in Matt Zollers.
Yes, sir.
Matt Zollers. I keep want to put a B on his name, but that kid has just as much of a talent at that football position. I mean, at that quarterback position, as Juju Lewis. And I'm telling you right now, that healthy competition is not something that Juju is going to run away from, especially if he knows that he is a fit for this. And I think he does that. I think he knows that, Ty. And so,
Hey. Not all white people look alike. It just so happens that Kyle and I look alike. It doesn't help my argument, but not all white people look alike.
And you know what? I only accidentally did that because somebody was trying to convince me while we were at the bar that you were Kyle and that Kyle was Ty. Like somebody recognized us from the show and it was like, no, bro, that's got to be Ty. I was like, no, man, I'm telling you, that's Kyle. Like, that's Kyle.
It doesn't help my argument.
Of course he was drunk, but yeah, it was funny.
Well, it's funny because the other night, ladies and gentlemen, we were doing a stream and there was someone in the Undefeated who kept calling me Kyle over, and I hit him with I hit Smook with the private chat, and I was like, man, not all white people look alike. And then I just put ... I was like, but it really doesn't help my case that Kyle and I actually do,
especially
in
on
fairness, we do kind of look similar. If someone, I'm not gonna lie, man, I think if Kyle and I put on a whole bit that I was Kyle's younger brother, I don't think anybody would like.
I don't think it'll deny it.
No, I think we could rock with that, and it'd be just like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense.
That's his brother. That's why they got the show. That's why he's on the network, because that's his brother.
It's not the best time for me to use that.
Shout out to my guy Adam with the $10 super chat. Says, do you guys think college football will get to a point where players are allowed to transfer mid-season and trades during the season will be allowed?
I hope not.
I don't think it'll get there, but I think because of what's about to happen with this spring portal, that's what's going to keep it from happening. From this, like I'm telling y'all, this is going to be. I wish Coach Jance was on here right now for the Judgment Day.
Oh no, we're planning, ladies and gentlemen, we're planning something.
Oh man,
that you guys are not going to want to miss. We'll have more information coming out about it, but. That's one where I save the date. That's all I'm going to say. You're going to want to be there. We're keeping Blaze out of the equation, but we are going to have some special guests from Middle Earth showing up. So,
oh Lord,
all I'll say there. You know, Coach, you started talking about Zollers, and I wanted to dive into this conversation with you because we lightly had this yesterday. When I watched Zollers' film, there was one adjective that stood out to me, and it was fit. He is a fit in this Kalen DeBoer offense like a glove. Now, what's your thoughts when you're watching Zollers? I know he's got a commitment date of April 4th, 2 days from now, but let's be honest, people get flipped all the time. What's your thoughts on Zollers?
I don't think we're going to get his initial commitment. I really don't. But if we do, even if it comes to a situation where he changes his commitment date, which is what I'm hearing, there might be a change in the commitment date.
Ooh, that'd be big for Bama now.
If he does that, then my confidence for this shoots through the roof. And my confidence for Juju Lewis pulling the trigger, that goes through the roof also. I'm telling you guys,
interesting.
There are players in this class, this 25 class to be particular, that are looking to establish themselves as the one, right? And so with Juju, considering Bama, making it known that Bama is back in the running, that this is something serious that I'm like very attractive to me. And then the recent visit by Matt Zoller, which wasn't a full court press push, but had high things to say, spoke highly of his visit. And it wasn't blanket statements. Anytime you get a quarterback recruit talking about schematics, that means there was a real conversation had, right? And Matt Zoller is one of those prospects. So I honestly think that if there's a commitment announcement date change, then we really about to be seeing some crazy things happening on the recruiting trail for this 25 class.
Well, I'll tell you what, we got some crazy things happening in the Undefeated. First and foremost, Luke Phillips gifted 10 Bama football on YouTube with Kyle Henderson memberships. Luke, thank you so much for that. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are the beneficiary of one of those memberships, be sure to thank Luke. You make this possible. But then, Coach, he follows it up. This man, Luke, just threw the alley-oop off the backboard to himself and then finished it off with a $100 donation saying, been out the past month on business, love the show. Luke, we love you being here. Show's not possible without supporters like all of you.
Appreciate you, my guy, Luke, man. Appreciate you. We appreciate you. Y'all hear me trying to contain my voice today because, man, this past weekend was crazy. Luke, if I had a voice, I would be like, oh, like screaming and stuff, but I don't have a voice right now. But definitely know that we appreciate you and everybody that supports the channel, that continues to show love and donate, the fan funders. Luke, good to see you back here, man. We were I think your name was mentioned this past Thursday about people that were kind of missing in the chat. So know that you are a member of the family, and your contributions do not go overlooked, and we appreciate you greatly, man. But yeah, I want to stay on this Matt Zoller, this Matt Zoller conversation, 100%. Man.
But before I want to give you flowers on something real fast, Coach. I won't take 15 seconds on this because you've picked up on something that I have talked about for 2 years now. Whenever you're looking at recruiting, you have to wade through. And especially someone like myself, who I kind of like reading tea leaves, right? Just because I do, there is something that I have come to deem recruit speak. And what recruit speak is, ladies and gentlemen, is these guys, they're going to say similar things whenever they're talking to On3, 20, because they're trying to maintain, they're not going to come out and say that visit was bogus, because they're trying to maintain positive relationships across the board. But someone like Coach Smook, he's not getting recruit speak. He's getting real speak. There are certain people in the industry that do get that, but no, there's a lot of recruit speak that goes out, and that's exactly what Coach Smook is talking about. Wherever you'll hear a kid go to Georgia and say positive things, or go to any school, and then coach is reaching out and then affirming what's what. That I really wanted to give you your flowers there, because that is absolutely something that I think we don't talk enough about, is the recruit speak, quote unquote.
Yeah, and it's smart. It would be crazy for a highly touted quarterback to sit there and say, yeah, their offense doesn't fit me. Like what I believe for Juju when it goes to the rumors about Georgia was ever in the like, not Carson Beck is the style of quarterback that Kirby is going to continue to lean on. Kirby is not going to go and you saw what he did with Justin Fields. You didn't go and get a coordinator to develop that generational talent. And we see Justin Fields now being a late bloomer in the NFL. I believe he's going to continue to get better. I really do. I think he went through his little his peak moments of being stuck in his space, but I think he is. But you look at type of quarterback that's came through Alabama under the previous coordinators, and we haven't had the best of coordinators since Sarkisian left. You get what I'm saying?
Certainly not a quarterback developer.
And we haven't had a QB coach, but system-wise, we've seen guys thrive. And now you have a QB coach, a head coach that has the offensive mindset and develops quarterbacks, even though he hasn't played the position. And then you also have a quarterback coach. You have a wide receiver coach who understands schematics of the pass game coordination. Oh, we got audio. I was like,
yeah, the audio came in. And not only that, Coach, to piggyback off of that, you got a tight end coach who broke records with Bailey Zapp at Western Kentucky.
Listen, not Nick Sheridan, but Brian Ellis is very, like you said, we've talked about this before. He's very underrated as a recruiter, but also as a coach when it comes to the X's and O's. You see, we won't see it right now. We won't see it in the spring game, but watch how effective our tight ends will be in this offensive scheme. And you're talking about, you got a guy like Jalen Milroe who did not understand how to use the tight ends in the pass game last year. Because if we go back and look, Tommy Reese did not call horrible plays when it came to the pass game, but he called horrible plays for Jalen Milroe, right? If Tommy Reese knew how to call plays for Jalen Milroe to highlight or
point. One more time, run that back one more time. Let this marinate, because this is a hell of a point.
It's deep. Because I had to check myself. Tommy Reese is not a horrible coordinator. You go look at some of the play design, a lot of the play design, not some of it, but a lot of them. You look at and say, man, that makes sense. He attacked the weak spot, but he didn't set. First of all, before we get to Tom, Seth, 90% of the time was horrible at snapping. So it's hard to get a quarterback who's trying to become comfortable in the pass game, who's dealing with not D1, but top 10, top 20 NFL style pass rush, right? Dealing with that type of pressure, struggling left tackle. But the play calling didn't help him either when his first read is to, try to key on this one-on-one that he identified pre-snap, right? Lack of pre-snap motion. Like, that's experience. But that goes to more so to the point of the play calling wasn't necessarily bad, but the play calling for Jalen Milroe, what his skill set design. You saw he was strong with the D ball. You saw how things developed when there was pre-snap motion for him. You saw when you gave him the run pass option or the play action look, how it affected when you allow him to roll the pocket, move the pocket, and press the line of scrimmage to give him the option to speed that clock up on how he was deciphering on what the coverage looks like. So I think you get into that and you look at a guy like Kalen DeBoer, you look at Nick Sheridan, you look at Brian Ellis, you look at Jamarcus Shepard, and even in the run game design with Coach Cap and his experience in run game coordination, like there's like this perfect mix up of guys coaching that can break down the schematics for this quarterback room. Jalen Milroe being the leader and the presumed starter, this can get good for him.
Love it. I love that so much. Jay Townsen gifted 5 Bama football on YouTube with Kyle Henderson memberships. Jay, thank you very much, man. Longtime supporter of the channel. One of the guys, Coach, to your point, if Jay's not around, we're in the background being like, yo, where's Jay at? Where's Jay at?
Jay been out here riding around getting it.
For sure. Now, Coach, I derailed the conversation, and for that, I apologize. Let's focus back in on Zollers, right?
That was a point.
That's where you wanted to go.
That was a point to be made, though, because now you're looking at the quarterbacks that we're recruiting or that are high on our list right now, which is Juju Lewis and Matt Zoller. And just imagine the development that they're going to go through in this new scheme. I would not want to see a Juju or Matt Zoller under a developing Tommy Rees right now. You know, maybe 3 years down the road, but Tommy Rees right now, that would hurt. That would hurt us in recruiting. DeBoer, Sheridan, Ellis, Shepard, Cap, even Coach G with the type of running backs that he could secure. That makes quarterbacks like Zoller and Lewis more inclined to want to come to Bama. Makes it easier.
Someone asked earlier, and I go up and look for it right now while I'm saying this. Someone asked earlier, you had the point about how Juju might be inclined to commit if you have Zollers commit. And they said, well, why would we think that if we're thinking that he's not going to go to Georgia because they got a 2026 guy? Well, Coach, you answered the question before we even identified it, because they don't have the offensive mind that Alabama has, especially from a quarterback position. And you know what else Georgia doesn't have? They don't have Patriot Life over there, gifting 5 more Bama football on YouTube with Kyle Henderson memberships, absolutely killing it day in, day out. They don't have a quarterback coach like Alabama has. They don't have a Patriot Life like Alabama has. What do they have?
That was my helicopter arm. Y'all see me fly away. Demetrius, yeah, I was highlighting your question. Appreciate that, Patriot Life. Appreciate that. Let me see. I have found it. You started too, so it's right here. I got it. So and Todd literally just reiterated it. So Georgia is not as attractive with their offensive style. Georgia is attractive with what they can put around the quarterback, right? So when you have a limited quarterback with efficient attributes like Carson Beck, like to me before he left, the Brock kid or whatever his name was, that was supposed Vandergriff. I think he was another kid that Georgia, losing him kind of hurts. And you saw a kid like Matt Raiola, who isn't consistent in skill sets and doesn't present consistent attributes. He left to go to Nebraska because what's Nebraska going to do? They're going to surround him with things to allow him to highlight his inconsistencies or his development path or what they could project. So Georgia, for a quarterback like Juju or Matt Zoller, Juju because we know that's who they're after. It just wouldn't make sense. It just wouldn't make sense for him schematically from a schematic standpoint. And that's not a bad thing. That's not saying he can't comprehend the game or he can't fit the offense. You can always get a quarterback and they could develop into a scheme, but it seems just more. These kids are being exposed to a different level of schematics and film breakdown than I ever was at the high school level. So I could just imagine what the thought process is for a young man like Juju Lewis, who has a great head on his shoulders, and when it comes to the game of football, is mature beyond his age.
before I get into that, shout out to Jay the Goat becoming a YouTube member. Thank you for joining the family, Jay. Super happy to have you over here as we see the helicopter. But this is the last point I will make, Coach, before I finally get out of here, let you do your thing. But it's interesting you say that about what these kids have access to, because earlier on in this segment, I was talking about Zollers, and I think this is the perfect way to do my Chris Paul to Blake Griffin alley-oop assist, right? I'm going to throw it up and let you yam it down. One of the things I see, we talked about yesterday, Zollers having a perfect fit for this Kalen DeBoer offense, but there's an attribute to his game that you're seeing more and more now, and that's eye discipline. Does it sound like it's the super sexy thing? No, it's not. But let me tell you what, it makes all the difference. Zollers is the type of quarterback that defenses know he can take off on you. He can get that first down. He can get that touchdown. But he's going to leave the pocket with his eyes downfield, seeing if he can't move that safety, seeing if he can't get that cornerback out of position. And the second he makes you pay, it's over. Like Michael Jordan says, you reach, I teach. That's kind of the same philosophy Zollers has. If you want to come up and account for my legs, please be my guest. I'm going to put it right over your head. You don't want to respect my legs? Please be my guest. I'm going to run right by you on the way to a touchdown. Coach, what do you think when you actually dive into who Zollers is as a player?
Like, and I mean, that to me is probably the problem. You get what I'm saying? Like his great playmaking ability. That is probably the problem that you're going to deal with his recruiting, because Kalen DeBoer doesn't necessarily want you to be a playmaker. You get what I'm saying? He wants you to maintain that ability, but his thing is how great, how fast can you operate within the timing of what we're doing? It's all a lot of timing based in layers, right? And so a challenge for Matt Zoller would be able to come into an offensive scheme where let it develop around me. How great can my arm be when everything's developing around me? How great can I deliver on a consistent basis, whether it's a 0.8 second snap to release play, or it's a 3-step, 3 to 5 drop, third phase, we're double moving somebody. What's it look like when I have cross mesh concept or flood concept, and now you're moving the pocket? Am I pressing the line too much? Like, these are challenges that Matt Zoller likes. So, which is more inclined, and you can see that he doesn't even have Bama as one of his top 10, I don't think, right now. I mean, but his interaction from that visit definitely created a lot of buzz, So I think with what his skill set provides is definitely a project, kind of like Austin Mack. He's way more polished when you look at his film at the stage he's at right now, which, right now, Austin Mack would only be a year ahead of him,
No, Austin Mack would have been a true freshman in this past recruiting class. Yeah, in this one.
So
you're right.
So I think this kid, Matt Zoller, he possesses some of the similar attributes with his ability to playmaking. I would love to see what a systematic approach, because he displays it. I mean, the traditional dropbacks, you see him make plays from under center, right? Play action from under center. Like, a lot of kids don't do that nowadays. And you turn on the film, Juju, I think you might see 1 or 2 highlights where Juju is under center on his film. But Matt Zoller has a few highlights where he's coming from under center, play action back to the defense, and turn around and literally making plays, pressing the pocket, pressing the line of scrimmage. I'm sorry. But yeah, he's a solid overall quarterback. That's what you want to see when you're especially this. I mean, look at that jump ball. Look at the placement, the ball placement of it.
He's got a beautiful deep ball.
I mean, I just want to show, like, look at this placement. Look at the mechanics though. You see how he didn't rush into that throw? Like, he really just, it felt like warm-ups.
Set, turn, and burn.
His plant foot, his lead foot is already set, right? Never loses the spot until he goes to follow through. No exaggerated steps, no overextension. Literally everything is in that wheelhouse. And look at it. Look at the angle on it. Look at the. Oh my God,
It's either a touchdown or it's an
or
incomplete pass.
Yep.
No other option.
And that's honestly, if that's incomplete, that's on the receiver, because he's giving you that. Me, I'm not going up above that. Oh, like it looks like he's right at the top of that whatever that's a D. I'm in the middle of the D. That's pause. I'm in right there in the blue area where they.
Coach Smook, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh man. I'm sorry, y'all. I've been doing so good the past 24 hours, and I'm glad. Is Antoine in here? Okay, if Antoine in here, we might be safe.
And I don't think Antoine's in here. I don't think Ronnie's in here. I don't know if Jor's in here.
Awesome.
So
awesome. We good. We might be good. We safe. 334 in here, but he be missing it a lot of times. Sean
he's less he's easier on us than his
Jor
is Ronnie.
Jor, Ronnie, Moon Rocker.
Oh gosh.
Antoine, yeah. You
supposed to say no Diddy.
See, that's y'all on that no Diddy stuff. I'm not. Antoine is in here. God dog it. That's y'all on that no Diddy stuff. I'm not touching that Diddy situation.
Someone made a YouTube video, and the thumbnail was that had a picture of P Diddy, and it was the diddler. And I was like, you gotta stop,
man.
Like,
they got a whole song. They got a whole song from when he did.
Oh no. Coach Smook hit the transfer portal. That's okay. We're going to hold it down. Portal can't hold my guy down. Your audio's not coming in. Say something?
Like check.
There you go.
All right. Yeah, they try to take me out.
We got you.
Look, but yeah, the Diddy stuff, man, I'm not jumping on that, man. I'm telling you, it's a lot of crazy stuff. Y'all gotta be careful what y'all speak on sometimes. Like for real, you gotta be real careful what you speak on, and I won't speak on that because it's a lot more attached to like recruiting. It'd be a lot more attached to what y'all think is happening, and just gotta be careful what you speak on. So
100%. Now, Jermaine Mims, this will be the last thing I say. He says, I didn't know Austin Mack was ranked higher than Dylan Lonergan in the same class, and there are people thinking. Major people in the industry thinking that he would have been pushing Sayin and Raiola for quarterback 1 status had he remained. Remember, when he was a freshman, they tried to get him to play tight end. He had to go to a different school his sophomore year just so he could keep playing quarterback, and then skipped his senior year. He has got so much upside, but there's a lot of development that still needs to be happening. But man, I remember when Josh Pate watched him, and he was like, that kid's going to be a problem for defenses in the future.
He will. The thing is with him, it's all about the mechanics, man. He's still young. You got to think he is still 17, man, going into his second year on a college campus. That is scary. Like I commend him for that, staying and being there for the challenge. And I don't want him, y'all have heard my early evaluation on him. It's only because he's at the college level. You can't evaluate him as a high school kid, because if he was in high school last year, he would be dominating. He would be. But you're at the college level. In order to be a college quarterback, a starting quarterback, you have to present a certain level, especially in this scheme. Jalen Miro was fortunate to be able to display certain attributes that allow his flaws to be covered. Well, you don't possess those attributes. Not many quarterbacks are going to.
Not many, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what separates Jalen Miro from most quarterbacks, from other quarterbacks. And you see how that worked out for Ty Simpson, who to me is more your traditional, your more prototypical quarterback with his form, how he operates in the offense, but definitely very inconsistent at times. And you get the same. And Ty Simpson, honestly, is a lot more athletic than what people give him credit for. I think it's just timing for him with showing up and Milrose sticking to the process. But Austin Mack is definitely making a push, man. I'm telling you, even the reports from the scrimmage this past weekend about, the type of plays that he was able to make, he and Dylan Lonergan both had some positive days with the limited reps that they had. And that just goes to show you that there is quality competition in that room. I really wish the narrative was trying to identify, getting some solid competition at that backup position. But it seems like, it seems like Ty Simpson and Jalen Milroe Jalen Milroe's 1, Ty Simpson's 2, and then you're trying to figure out who are we prepping for the next transition phase, or who are we going to start to give that workload of scout team, so that we can build those mechanics and film work. I mean, because scout team helped me. After I got my injury my freshman year, and I went to scout team playing against the ones every day, it helped me, in my development, because I wasn't going against the scout team defense no more, for game prep. I was going against our starters, and going against the ones to me is the best way to get prepped. Or the best way to even get exposure, to show coach that you're ready. So it provides its advantages. It provides its advantages.
Well, I'm going to tell you what the advantage is for all of you, ladies and gentlemen. The time is nigh. The Smook Scoop fully begins right now. I'm going to go ahead and get out of Coach Smook's hair, because I have a habit of, in a good way, derailing a conversation into several other subpoints. And it's great, but I want to let you do your thing so that the people completely get the full Smook Scoop. Coach, It's always great getting to wrap up with you, though.
Already, man. I appreciate you hanging out. It's kind of dead right now with, everything so plain in recruiting. There's not much buzz about guys and their decisions. A lot of spring breaks, a lot of cordial visits happen, unofficials, but nothing to be excited about. So, we do have some things lined up for tonight that I'll reveal to the chat, but it's always a good time. Always a good time, Ty.
Always fun, my man. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Smook taking it from here. Give him your love. Give him your support. Drop those likes. We got 224 in here. We need at least 224 likes, because you guys know that really helps out. Until next time, I'll see you all tomorrow. As always, roll Tide.
Roll Tide, brother. Hey, shout out to my guy Ty Hayes, man. Y'all know that's my boy, man. We love to bring the energy here. He does bring the best, like, debatable topics and different insight or takes on what we got going on. Oh, Nashawn Montgomery. Y'all know the guy we just offered, Nashawn Montgomery. I can't wait to see this young man, where his commitment goes, because that kid is fast. Appreciate y'all for turning up with your boy today. Coming back from this little whatever I got going on with my voice, is starting to come back. So I appreciate y'all for bearing with your boy. Let's jump in. We've been in here for about 30 minutes now. Appreciate y'all for hanging out. Joseph Davis is in the chat. Let me turn the music up. Music seems kind of low, don't it? Yeah. What's up? Joseph Davison in the chat. Appreciate you for pulling up. Let's go. Hey, my bro Larry Large in the chat. And Auntie Janet is here. She is here live and in effect. Auntie lover, Auntie Janet. Y'all be making Auntie Janet blush when y'all call her Auntie Janet in the chat. Jimmy Brown is in the chat, man. Jay Townsen, my Uncle Jay, what's good? Rocket Town, what's good, brother? I'm glad you wasn't in here like 15 minutes ago. Appreciate you for not being here 15 minutes ago. DR334, what's good? Nicole, how you feeling? John, how you feeling? Antonio, what's up, cuzzo? Bino is in the chat. The Cool Show, what's good, family? How you feeling? King Family Reacts. I was watching some of your stuff last night. What's the girl K Block from Montgomery? I don't know if you've done it already. I would love to see you react to her American Idol audition with her raspy, full, soulful voice, man. She represented from Montgomery, Alabama. She did her thing, man. Poetic Injustice, how you feeling tonight? Randall, how you feeling? My guy. Raise the Bar, how you feeling? How you feeling? Welcome in, Ruben. How you feeling, my guy? Carla, my sister. How you feeling? How you feeling? Y'all, today is Tuesday. It's a terrific Tuesday. We waking up with the energy, y'all. We waking up with the vibes. Nothing crazy going on in recruiting news today, man. A lot of things that's been happening is just the basic stuff, man. We got visits on campus. So I'm going to open the floor up again today to kind of speculate with recruiting. Any recruiting questions y'all have for me? I had a few guys that sent me some film of some people to look out for. I'm actually going to pull those up, and we could look at some film today too. A lot of people are excited about recruiting because of the names that's coming up, but I don't think we're looking at the quality of what we have in the state or that guys that have been offered. A lot of times we just we pay attention to what mainstream media. I see a lot of times y'all talk about On3 and Bama Online and what they talk about. I don't too much get into those guys. I follow some of the stuff. I don't subscribe to any, but you know what they do on the socials publicly, I follow it. You know, it's good to have confirmation of things that you're hearing. But I really think we're building something, a brand over here that's solid, that these young men are starting to gravitate to. And before long, everything recruiting will be coming through Bama Football on YouTube, or Bama YouTube is, I think we just need to change the name, Bama YouTube, right? Bama YouTube, because we do everything Bama right now. We talk a lot of basketball, we talk a lot of football, we talk baseball. I mean, it's becoming the network for Bama coverage. So, yeah, Rocket Town, you ain't missed nothing. You ain't missed nothing. You didn't miss nothing. I got you, Coach, on K-Blocks. I was looking for something for this afternoon's release. Hey, do it, man. I'm telling you, that's going to be a good one. If y'all haven't already, y'all check out King Family Reacts YouTube channel. Does reactions to music based stuff. Sometimes he does some comedy stuff, I think. But I really watch him to see his reactions. He finds like different gems of music, different songs that, you know, I never would have thought of listening to. So I'm a musician, so it kind of just opens up my selection, widens that genre. I gotta get a different mouse because this thing is like touchy. I mean, very like the slightest. I wasn't even the mouse pad. I had my hand over it and I was talking and moving my hands. And I think when I did the update, the hand motion thing, like, I thought I turned it off. Look, I turned it off. What's another one? Trying to see. What's another one? We got any more? We got any more? Okay. That's confetti. So what's the other one? I don't know. I thought I turned it off. I'm gonna see. I gotta figure out how to fix it, y'all. Because I literally was not touching the mouse pad. I was not touching. But let's jump into it. Let's get our commercial in. Y'all know we got to pay some bills. We got to thank our sponsors for what they do and how they support us. So jump on it. Don't forget, we got the topical oils coming. And yeah, y'all enjoy the commercial, man.
Special thanks to our sponsor, Residence in Ocean City, Maryland. Guests can book at residenceinOC.com. Use the promo code LPR for special Bama football pricing, up to 20% off. Also, go to therogueshop.com. Use the promo code Bama. You get legal CBD. For me, personally, I like the topical oil. You know how intense my workouts are, right? So I like the topical oil. I like to rub that on my back, whatever, after those cinder blocks. So go to their website, cruise down, look through their website, and definitely check out rogueshop.com. And like I said, I like the topical. Again, the promo code is BAMA. Also, think about becoming a fan funder right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Become a part of the Undefeated as low as $2.99 a month. That's 10 cents a day. How do you do this? Make sure you're logged into your account. This is on a computer. You can also do this on your phone and look for the tab that says membership. Once you click membership, you can see different options. You can see an upgrade button right there to the right if you want to go through the different levels. We have fan funder videos from the staff right here at Bama Football on YouTube. Very easy to navigate. Let us know if you have questions inside the comment box when trying to upgrade or renew your fan funder membership right here on Bama Football on YouTube. And of course, if you want to rock that undefeated gear, check out our merch store located at the bottom of the videos. We appreciate Patriot Life, Cynthia, Antoine, Caitlin, and to everybody else that supports us right here on Bama Football on YouTube.
Yes. Love the merch. Y'all see, I got one of our shirts on today. This is the one we're kind of changing the design up on. We're going to get the the DEF in white. I don't know. Y'all can't even see it. There you go. We're going to get the DEF in white for the undefeated. Shout out to all the supporters, all the fan funders. We appreciate y'all. I know I do. You know, it's been, these past 2 days have been like crazy as far as things happening on the back end, So if I seem a little tired, it's not that I'm tired, y'all. I'm just focused. I am locked in. We got a lot of different things maybe happening this weekend in recruiting. I mean, the anticipation for spring, the A-Day game is like, I mean, it's just shooting through the roof, guys. So that's where my heart is and my mind is right now. Believe me, I'm not losing. I'm not losing the energy. I'm just locked in. I want everything to go so perfect for this network when we cover A-Day and all the big things that's coming up. I want it to be perfect. So I'm really locking in and honing in my skills so I can do what I need to do to make this team thrive, to help this team thrive. So that's where I'm at, y'all. Appreciate y'all, man. And everybody that's in here with the topical oil, you know what I'm saying? We appreciate y'all, man. Cinder blocks, I already know her. Y'all is a trip, man. Coach Smook, Jacayla Falk flipping soon, you think? I think we have the best chance to get him as far as getting a flip. My thing is I always look for the decommitment confirmation. That's once I hear that, then it's on. I'm glad you said something about that because I believe I received a message from that young man. I believe I received a message from that young man on Twitter. And I think my alarm is about to go off for me to, because I am very strategic how I approach these situations, y'all. So the rumors behind Jacayla Falk are definitely really realistic. And that's for any recruit, man. So if y'all hear people talking about a Bama recruit, a couple of Bama recruits that may be considering, you know, whatever it is, you know, decommitting, it might be true. You know, these visits, there's a lot of effort that goes into these visits. And I think a lot of you all, some of us, I'm not going to just say you all, some of us only know the surface of what happens on these recruiting visits, man. Some of the conversations, a lot of kids get there and they are asked questions that they can't answer, and that is intimidating to them. And then some of the same, you know, in the same sense, you got kids that if they don't know the answer or they can't really comprehend, that's a challenge to them, and that's what attracts them to the university. So Jacayla Falk is a guy, man. You get him and Duke Johnson. Oh my Jesus. Talking about going crazy. Yo, Smook, what's good? What's good, Jay Jackson? What's up, family? What you hearing about on wide receiver and tight end recruits, coach? Wide receivers, Cornell Farrakhan is a guy that I expect to hear something from soon. And I think he's a heavy Bama lean. Derek Meadows out of Bishop Gorman. I think he's a realistic push right now. Travis Smith Jr., I honestly believe us in Georgia are his options. Do we get a commitment from this young man in July, or does he pull the trigger and goes with Georgia? You know, I think Tennessee is starting to make up a little ground because of the spread, but Travis Smith is a competitor. And I think with the amount of wide receivers that are being pushed, a commitment from him would just solidify what I think about his mentality and how he wants his career to go. Another wide receiver that I'm excited about, y'all know I'm a wide receiver guy, Marcus Harris out of Mater Dei, 6 foot 180. I think he's a 4-star too. I think he's a 4-star, who I believe might end up tapping into that 5-star rating. He's another route technician. You look at him, it gives you the same feels that you got from Jerry Jeudy, you know, with his route running. Not necessarily the fastest, but very strong route runner and very strong hands. Very strong hands. Can climb the ladder too. Marcus Harris can climb the ladder. Tight ends, you all know I'm excited about Lincoln Cure. That kid is he's probably one of the most athletic tight ends in this 25 class. And then Deshaun Bram, both of these guys from Kansas out there putting out the big tight ends, the big athletic guys. Both of these guys 6'6", 230 plus 225, 230, right? Similar skill sets. I think Deshaun Bram is just a little bit faster. than Lincoln. But to me, Lincoln is more complete. He's more college ready. You get one of these guys. I mean, if you get both of them, you're getting similar guys, virtually the same guy, but you miss out on one and get the other, you're setting yourself up for some success. One thing I will say about Deshaun Bram, he can climb the ladder too. He's a jump ball mechanic. Like you want him, I mean, to have options like him, Danny Lewis, Caleb Odom. And I said Caleb Odom because, you know, I see a lot of red zone sets for Caleb Odom with one-on-one opportunities, jump ball. But yeah, the Lincoln Cure, same thing. Very good with using his body to create separation or to shield off defenders when he's in receiving the ball. Both of these guys are going to have to get a lot more solid in the run blocking scheme, but that's going to come with time as they continue to adjust to the speed of the college game. Jamie Gonsa says, good morning, Bama family from Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Ooh, I like Oak Ridge. I ain't gonna lie. I've rode through Oak Ridge before. Roll Tide from Germany. How you doing, Tobias? Good to see you in here again. Much love. Nebraska. Hey, Nebraska is doing some things with their NIL. Nebraska's doing some things with their NIL. They're one of the teams I feel like is kind of like overhauling right now. They're going, you know, balls to the wall to really pick up in this recruiting game to bring some type of attention to them for at least, you know, the 26-27 class. And the only way you're going to do that is make up momentum with the 25. I think they're outside the top 30 right now with current commits or guys that are, you know, leaning towards them. Not much buzz going on in Nebraska with recruiting. So definitely would see that. What are your thoughts on Parker Brailsford's situation? Parker Brailsford, if the rumors are true that he's running from the competition, that he came to Alabama with the mindset that he was going to be the foregone starter, he doesn't need to be here because that's only going to hurt his stock. That's only going to hurt his image from the public eye or from the even on the next level. So hopefully, like I said, all rumors, but there were confirmation that he hasn't been at practice. You know, he hasn't been in workouts. There's no communication right now with he and any other offensive lineman. So Tony Tsoukalis is a very, I ain't gonna say controversial, but he jumps on the hot topics and with the information that he releases when he has scoop is very far and few when it's not. There are very few misses when it comes to what he reports and what he speaks on when it comes to rumors like that. So yeah, man, Parker Brailsford is that dude. What he said, Ruben, watching on my phone and had to take a call or answer my super chat. I missed it. Can you recap? Okay, let me see. My guy Ruben, he said his super. He said, your guys that just visited from Phoenix, how did their visits go? The ones that called in, oh yeah. So you talking about when I was on the phone on the show? That visit went good, man. They enjoyed it. A lot of things were, a lot of positives were taken away from it. Relationships were reestablished, and there was specifics. And I don't want to reveal too much because they plan on interacting with us here. There's a 26 kids. So this Thursday, we'll have our 26 recruits on. Day Upshaw. I'm really trying to see what his mindset is when it comes to getting on the show. But he enjoyed his visit. He was excited about being here on campus, being the guy that he is, growing up a Bama fan, having the ties with a lot of his recent classmates in Red Morgan, Isaiah Fager, both of them on roster now. Even speaking with Isaiah Fager, I think he was very excited, about, Dalen's response to his visit. So we're doing the right things in recruiting. Somebody said it yesterday, and appreciate that $4.99 super chat again, Ruben. Somebody said it yesterday that I like the fact that this coaching staff isn't having to lean on the bag to get the attention of recruits, right? Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Jamie, appreciate you for stopping by and hanging out with us. Hunter Ray said, what makes you think we will get Lincoln Cure? You remember when I was like, I don't speak on stuff unless I know it. Lincoln is a good guy. He's a schematics guy. One thing about Lincoln is he understands bigger picture. And hopefully, as a matter of fact, let me see if I could get him on tonight. If we get Lincoln on tonight, that'll be cool, right? Y'all want me to put it to work? So I'm gonna work that. I'm gonna see if we can get Lincoln on tonight. If we get Lincoln on tonight, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. And then I think we got a good opportunity with that young man. Have a good day, coach. We got to get back to work and got to get back into work. Oh yeah. Y'all got real jobs out there. Go make sure y'all making that money. Keep supporting us. Appreciate you for stopping by, Jamie. If they want to leave, we don't want them. Bad chemistry don't win championships. Man, I've seen some real good teams develop through adversity, like what Parker Brailsford is presenting or has been presenting with. And sometimes it might just be a conversation that needs to be had. I won't sit here and write a young man off like that because there was strong ideas. And if he listened to the media, it's some of our fault too. You know, I'll be accountable for my part. You know, if they watched the media, they heard us. He heard how excited we were to have a viable center coming to Alabama, but not just a transfer, one that's familiar with the system, the offensive scheme that's being taught. But to know, like, and I think this sentiment has been shared across the fan base as we continue to get reports from practice and from scrimmages, to know that James Brockermeyer is really competing. That's good news for us as Bama fans, meaning we still maintain quality depth on the depth chart with having him as a Brockermeyer being competing against Brailsford. And we excited about Rock Montgomery growing, right, and getting his opportunities, and him continuing to be ready to step in if ever needed, because he's not necessarily a starter this year, but he is one of those guys that's like, you want 7 or 8 guys that's ready to go at just about any position. And the interior part of this offensive line is very important about, how, when it comes to execution. The whole line is important, but interior, there's a lot of things that we use to throw false keys, that we will use to throw false keys with their movement and that how they're coming out in blocking schemes. So, yeah. Deshaun Lee. Yes, that's another name. See, you just calling out all the names that I have that I'm working with this week to get on in the next 2 weeks, because after A-Day, it's going to be different, y'all. Like, the content is definitely going to change. It's not going to die down, but it's definitely going to change. And we're going to have a lot of interaction with a lot of these recruits. Another kid that I think that a lot of us are overlooking in a tight end position as we continue to talk about wide receivers and tight ends, Andrew Olish is somebody that I'm excited about too. He doesn't have a lot of hype around him, but he's a Bama lean right now without saying so much. I think Andrew Olish, 6'5", 212, is what Bama 247 has him listed as, out of Pennsylvania. We've been going up into the Pennsylvania area and really snagging some of their elite talent that they have to offer. And the thing about Pennsylvania is the talent is starting to develop. Like it used to be like certain states you went to for certain things. Well, Pennsylvania is starting to become an everything state. They don't have a lot of it, but they have, 5 to 10 guys in the state, every recruiting class that are dogs. You got maybe a quarterback, maybe 2 receivers, maybe 2 defense linemen, maybe a tight end like this year, Andrew Olish. Excuse me, y'all. Is a guy that's super talented. You look at his film, I mean, to me, he would be the next Robbie Oots if we was to go out and get another tight H-back style, 6'5", smaller build, slimmer build, but his frame, you can tell he's going to be 245, 250. I think Robbie Oots is probably like 255 right now. Yeah, Josh Pate being in T-Town is going to be crazy. Josh Pate being in T-Town is going to be crazy. I'm actually I'm trying to get some scoop on that. I have a connect. Me and Josh Pate got some ties, you know, being that he's from Columbus. If I could get an interaction with him, y'all know I'm gonna go crazy. So I'm not like today's segment. We got about 10 minutes, and then I'm headed out to really make a push on some agendas with recruiting, with getting us some content uploaded, all of that. So I'm not rushing, but I think y'all liking the legwork that we putting in more than just sitting in front of the screen. It's good to conversate like this, but I think y'all are enjoying the interaction with everything that's happening as it happens on campus, everything that's happening with the program as it's being developed and talked about. I think that's what y'all are appreciating, and that's where my focus is right now. And I love watching the other panelists grow. You know, Coach Sean, Coach Jay, Jake Merrill when he's available. Ty Hayes has been doing this for a while now and been doing a great job at it. Josh Pate even gave him a shout out, I want to say 3 years ago now, gave him some public recognition. So we got some quality here, and I'm just trying to do the best I can to make sure I'm doing my part to help this team be a success. What other recruits we want to talk about? I know I want to talk about these offensive linemen. I saw the conversation about some of the O-line. As you all know, David Sanders Jr. is somebody that I'm excited about. Ty Haywood, I feel like we really have a strong opportunity to get him. And y'all remember I was talking about Lamont Rogers starting to silently have some interest in Bama on a high scale. Lamont Rogers is a guy that I think will be a late commit if he commits to Bama. I think he may commit elsewhere, but he will continue to show interest in Bama. I think right now he's more of an A&M lean than he is Texas, but he's a Texas kid. And so, you know, we're going to have to fight to pull two Texas kids out of Texas in Lamont Rogers and Ty Haywood. Offensive lineman. Anybody talk about anybody know about any offensive lineman that I probably should be looking at in this 25 class that, you know, I could start working on some stuff. And that's another thing too, y'all. I don't act like I know all the recruits. You know, I don't act like I know everybody that Alabama's looking at. I'm literally like, I have people that say, hey, Coach Mook, check this guy out. And then I check them out and we'll bring them on the show or to review their film, or we'll start to create some buzz about them. And then next thing you know, I get a follow back or they follow me, I'm following them. And there's a conversation being had, and then Alabama reaches out to them. You know, so we're doing our part. Put it like that. We're doing our part, whether it's on a large scale or a small scale. We're doing our part. What I was about to look at, y'all. What's up, Smook? I'm late. What I missed? Javian, we just talking about different recruits. We talked a little bit about Parker's Brailsford. Appreciate you for pulling up too, man. Talk about the Parker Brailsford situation. How James Brockemeyer is doing good. We talked about some of the wide receiver and tight end recruits that Alabama is targeting and our chances of getting them, what my feels are around it. Just nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Speaking of leg work, 2 leg days in 12 hours, then a hoop session with the bros. Couldn't have done it without CBD oil on my hamstring. Hey, Moonrock gonna change that picture too. That's my boy, man. I see you. He finally got him a new pic. I almost thought it was somebody trying to troll. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, Moonrock, I'll be hitting legs tonight. Y'all know I work Tuesday through Thursday night at Crunch Fitness here in Tuscaloosa. So I usually go like 2 sessions during my shift. I do an early session, then I do a touch-up session where I do like auxiliary muscles. This is week 2. We're doing 3 workouts, 3 days a week. And this is week 2 for you, boys. So yeah, and that's why you see me leaning over a lot more, because I really been my back. I've been pushing it, and I've been up on my feet. So I'll be hitting the chiropractor Thursday too to get my adjustment. I'm rebuilding the body, man. I'm trying to get back up to 190, 195, walk around weight. And so, yeah, y'all motivate me too. Some of y'all in the chat, I see y'all doing y'all fitness stuff. And yeah, it makes me feel good. What's up, Cynthia? How you feeling? Cynthia? Hey, and don't forget, y'all, Undefeated merch, man. Get in there and buy it. A-Day is not this weekend, it's next week. And you don't want to be late. You don't want to we're not going to have any on hand, I don't think. And y'all actually know our full schedule and setup, how we're going to do everything on A-Day. So one thing I will say, I think I think it's pretty cool that we are considering is the whole walk around interview feel, having a station set up, right, where we can recharge our equipment or keep things going to keep the stream going. But the walk around interview feel, I feel like if we take that approach, I think we will have such a great time. That way we're not set at one spot. You'll catch us walking around. You'll be able to see us live and move around. I think that's going to be cool. So, yeah. John M. said, hey, Coach, what are you most excited to see out of this team this year? I think I'm just excited to see a new team. I'm excited to see a new coaching staff. I'm excited to see a new philosophy, schematics. It's a lot that I could say. Let's say the most excited. I think I'm the most excited to see us in our first tough game. Not necessarily a loss, but a tough game. I want to see us in our first tough game. Hopefully it's Georgia. And if not Georgia, hopefully it's Tennessee. Hopefully it's hopefully it's hostile. Hopefully it gets everybody riled up and starts making people ask questions, even though we probably be at a 3-0 start before Georgia, because we experienced them. That's what I'm ready to see. I'm that type of fan. I like to see what causes us to get in our emotions about what our team is doing. And I think that's what I'm excited to see. From a skill set standpoint, players that I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see Kendrick Law embrace this new role as a primary guy or a starter. I'm ready to see Kobe Prentice continue to develop. He's always been a solid. I'm ready to see Caleb Odom, true freshman year, step on the scene, already making an impact, having the opportunity with Jalen Hill going down. I'm ready for Emmanuel Henderson. I'm ready for Jalen Milroe to show his work, all the work that he's been putting in. The running back room is deep. Offensive line. I'm ready to see how this offensive line meshes together, because when I'm hearing left guard to right tackle, it's pretty solid. It's the second right tackle, and then it's the left tackle. The left tackle position that's having problems right now. The D line, I'm ready to see how much depth we will continue to put, how much depth we'll actually use with this D line, because I honestly think you can go anywhere from 8 to 11 personnel from that defensive line group and be effective, keep guys fresh, almost as if, guys not going to be able to get warmed up because of how deep the D line is. So, I'm excited about a lot of that. This is my full time. Yes, this is my full-time job. I do this full time. But I do work part-time at Crunch Fitness overnight. We going to meet at 8-8? Yeah, we're going to meet up. Wherever we announce that we go land up, that's where we meet up at. We definitely going to meet up. And then I already told you all, facts, Moon Rocker. I'm trying to get right, man. I'm telling y'all, I'm going to wait to the end. Moon Rocker, I'm going to go back to this because I really want y'all to help me with the agenda, y'all. And it's not just for me. This is content that I believe you all will enjoy. As a matter of fact, what time is it? Oh, perfect timing. Perfect timing. Any more questions before I try to close out this this segment? You ready for Manny, bro? So many. For Manny. Who we talking about? Manny, who? Manny who? Oh, E-Man. Emmanuel Henderson. Okay, I got you. I'm not leaving BDS until I meet Kyle Smook, Jance, Sean. Hey, so I know Sean is going to be there for sure. I'm not sure about Jance. Myself and Kyle will be there. T will be there. I think Jake Merrill should be there. He should actually be on his way up here for the coaching clinic. Yeah, Jake Merrill should be on the way up here. Yeah, I seen that, Antoine. You said Manny. Moonrock, you said Manny. I be calling him E-Man. Even when I see him at practice, I be like, E-Man, what's good? What's up, E-Man? I think that's what everybody else. Justin Summerlin in here. What's good, family? How you doing today? Yeah, everybody, man, listen, I better meet everybody. And y'all, please don't expect me to know your face because, I don't think y'all understand how small these profile pictures are, even when we pull them up on screen. I'll notice Antoine. I've seen Antoine on other socials. But Justin, if you see me, you better be like, hey, I'm Justin Summerlin. You know what I'm saying? Moon Rocker, I definitely be able to recognize him. Moon Rocker, you got long hair, don't you? You got hair. Moon Rocker, Bone Thugs and Harmony. You know what I'm saying? Has anyone seen any highlights of Terrell Green? Send me his information. Send me his huddle information to my email. I want to see what you see right here at coachsmook@gmail.com. Send that to me, man. Send that to me, Chris, because you know the easiest way to get these kids exposure is to get them on the platform. I'm telling you, it's happened so many times. Yeah, that's where I'm at with it. Pretty good. I'm ready for A-Day. I'll be there. Facts. Ooh, I'm so ready, y'all. I'm telling y'all, it's going down. Cynthia Middleton can't wait. I agree with hugs too, so I don't want to see any hands. Hey, listen, I was going to say the same thing, y'all. I'm a hugger. Like fellas. I like to bring it in. That's me, especially the ones you guys that are here supporting. Oh my God, that's me. I am not a believer in like cooties or none of that. I mean, don't be coming up on me smelling musty. You know what I'm saying? If you're musty, I might have to get a little distance. You know what I'm saying? But make sure, listen, either get you some liquid based, meaning some natural, organic, hygienic, non-allergenic, hypoallergenic deodorant base for that day, or get you some powder based. Powder based deodorant is undefeated. Suave, Secret, Arm & Hammer, the yellow thing. Don't be coming out there with no gel deodorant or no spray. Don't be doing that. It's gonna be hot out there. We're gonna be sweating. We're gonna be out there working. I better come out there with some good deodorant. I'm gonna be mad. Smook, I want a hug. Cynthia, you getting a hug. I already told Cynthia, Auntie Janet. Auntie Janet, me and Auntie Janet had the best conversation yesterday. So if y'all have my personal number, it's not, if you don't have it, it's not nothing personal. But if you have my personal number, it's because I feel like God placed you in my life for a reason. And there's something that there's there for us to make a connection with. And I've learned a lot, Auntie Janet, with what she does with the honey and the bees. Like that's something that I've always been interested in. But from a life standpoint, the type of support, the words of encouragement that she sends on a daily, it does my heart good. A lot of you all hit me up on the daily, like Uncle Jay, it's a lot of y'all. I don't want to get into specifics, but just know it's appreciated to have these connections. And y'all are family. Like for real, we are becoming and have become a family. That's why when y'all see my friend Keisha came in yesterday, I'm telling y'all, she gonna fit right in. I was telling KT, I talk to KT every day. That's my sister. KT, I was like, KT, you and Keisha probably gonna be best friends because Keisha gets slick and start talking trash. KT do the same thing. KT, y'all see KT going crazy in the chat. Her Quaisha Marquita, Auntie Janet they be hyping Auntie Janet up, and Auntie Janet be hyping them up, and they get to acting up. I just can't imagine what that's going to be like at the bowling alley. You get what I'm saying? When we hang out, I can see that happening, and that's different. A lot of platforms don't do that with their supporters, and I don't like calling y'all fans. A lot of y'all say we're biggest fans. I don't like calling y'all fans. To me, that makes the way it sounds. It's great that we have fans, but supporters are the ones that are there. Consistent, and that don't mean you agree with everything we say. You just love the energy that you get here, and that's what I like to hark on, y'all. Bama fan, you said you got a 3.5 hour drive to get here. That ain't bad. I drive that every other weekend. Smook, I tried to use the Discord link mad times and never worked. I'm gonna put the new one out. I had stopped trying to add people. Hunter, you and your wife will be there? No kids? You coming kidless? KT said, I'm a fan. What's up, twin? Y'all, she called me yesterday talking about some, don't be telling folks we twins. I said, I know it. I mean, my forehead a little bit bigger than yours, but we twins. Like, that's my twin for real, y'all. Wait till y'all see how, and we haven't even interacted in person yet. It's just like phone conversation. We be on some twin type stuff, like for real. And y'all know Cousin O'Shawn and DR334 and my boy Bama fan in here, Moon Rocker, Antoine, like the fellas that be in on Darkwing Duck. If he pull up, I'm telling y'all, OG Cruz, if he pull up Uncle Jay, I'm gonna have him outside acting up, y'all. I'm gonna have him outside acting up. We're gonna be outside acting up. Jared Smith, Chromosome Bandits. I will check on that. I haven't really heard the name. I haven't really looked into it. Is that a 26 kid? Jared Smith? Let me look. Somebody put me on game. I'm about to look it up now. Oh, the Townsen kid. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know. I know he's a 25 kid, but we're cool on him right now. And I think he was one of the kids that kind of like pulled back once the staff changed and kind of was quiet, kind of like Zion Grady. I know there has been a conversation or two with that staff, the Thompsons. You know, they've made visits to Townsen. I would imagine that when you stop at Townsen, you go and get the number 2 player in the state of Alabama, or you go talk to the top 20 ranked nationally player in the country, right? I would imagine. So, excuse me, Palmer Song, appreciate you for that reminder. I'm gonna definitely look into that. I'm gonna definitely look into that. Meet and greet for A-Day. Listen, I'm going to talk to Kyle once I get off of here today, or when we link up, because y'all know we got practice coverage today. I'm going to talk to Kyle and see if he wants me to head up the fan side of it while they handle the supporter side of it, while they handle the network side of it, because that's the most important thing, getting there and getting credentialed to where we have access to all of the important stuff. Like the night before, I'm telling y'all, I'm gonna need y'all to help me be responsible, because y'all know how Coach Smoot get when he be outside, right? Y'all know how he get. I would stay out till 3 o'clock and ride straight over to the stadium where we supposed to be setting up, and I will camp out. Y'all mess around. We might do a camp out. Who got the RVs? Where the RVs at? Where the big trucks at? We mess around and pull up and get us a tailgating spot and tailgate the whole time. Shoot, that'd be crazy. What? Imagine that, y'all. Imagine that, like tailgate the night before. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, you have a 36-foot camper. Caleb, where you at? Y'all want to go pick this camper up? KT said she got a bunch of coolers. Y'all know what I'm saying? Y'all already know what time it is. And all of us are of age. You know what I'm saying? The stores, I know where to go now since I've been living here. Come on now. Oh, come on now. Aniston, you going to bring the camper? Listen, so what if, Caleb, what if by the time I'm in my place, what if I provided you a space to park your camper? Because my place, both places that I'm looking for, well, one of them is definitely driving distance, but the other place is in walking distance. And I know some of y'all, you know, some of us are older like me. Some of y'all old like me, ain't trying to walk. But A-Day, you going to be so hyped, you ain't going to care. And then they going to have the cars out there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I want to set something up to where I get with all the fan funders. And we're going to get into the analytics of it and the details. All the fan funders, get y'all in for a meeting, some type of meeting. And we can kind of organize something. We can get a crew together to organize some stuff on the fan funder side. Jay Jackson, we got to be able to wake up, man. We got to be able to wake up. Come on, Jay. Don't bring that country stuff up here, boy. We trying to wake up. I'm just playing. Bring it all, y'all. Bring it all. Hopefully ain't like Auntie just said. Like Skylar just said, good food and all, y'all. We want to have a great time. We want to take care of each other. And yeah, I'm ready to do it. All the undefeated has to supply. Hey, that ain't nothing. That's why I said I want to. It's a week before. Let's make it realistic. Let's have the conversation. Let's have the conversation. Let's set it up, because this will be an opportunity to help the channel grow too. If we are really like not necessarily sponsoring something, but hosting something that's low cost, you know, especially the night before, I plan on going bowling. That's what I plan on to do the night before. Making it known. Whether it's Bolero, whether we have to find somewhere, I feel like I got enough connection and enough juice now because of you all and the type of entertainment and content that we've been able to produce. I feel like I could reserve us 7-8 lanes at Bolero the night before, and we don't have to worry about that extra stuff. We just need everybody to be guaranteed showing up on time, right? That's all I ask. Let's be timely. If we're going to commit to something, let's do it. But yeah, that really helped me in my segment. So what I was going to touch on before I left, what was I going to touch on? Moonrocker talking about the meal plan. So content going forward. Social media. I need everyone to follow me. I need everyone to follow me on Twitter. If you got Instagram, follow me on Instagram. It's @CoachSmoot on every platform. @CoachSmoot on every platform. If you don't see a real picture of me, it's probably not me. But I don't have any more fake. I don't have any more fake like avatar pictures on my profiles. @CoachSmoot on every platform. And if the followers like Instagram, I think that's the only one I have with less than 500 followers. So TikTok, everything else, if the followers are like a low amount of followers, it's not a real page. Yes, I have people that are creating fake pages. Lord, Mama, I made it type stuff. You know what I'm saying? But nah, definitely follow your boy. And one of the agendas that I want to push is I want you all to pay attention to recruits that I'm interacting with. And even players. We have players that really want to do content. They want to support what we're doing here at Bama Football on YouTube. And I want the opportunity to do the tour of the facility. I want to do a day in the life with players. I want to do just like interactive things with the players, the staff. You know, Ryan Fowler does great interviews with Coach Kalen DeBoer. I want to bring our vibe to it. I know, and this ain't nothing to be embarrassed about. I know y'all see me and Kyle have a great time on the strip the other night. That was an awesome time. Don't have to go into details about what was done, but it was a great time. It felt good to let our hair down and enjoy that moment. And you all make us feel comfortable and confident enough to be that type of content team, that type of outlet. You know, a lot of professional outlets would never do that, or they would do it and they would, you know, send the video to somebody else for them to post and say, you could post this of us. We don't want to post it because we'll get in trouble. You know, I've seen that in this industry where guys just really can't live. But you have given us the confidence to really rely on us being authentic in who we are, and you all supporting it, because not only are we just being clowns or you know we're providing entertainment, we're being informative. We're connected to the university. We're at the interviews. We're at the practices. We're talking to the recruits, and it's just a growing thing. So I appreciate that. I know Kyle does also. And I think you all appreciate us being as authentic and transparent as we are. What other university has a community like this? Jared, I honestly do not know. I appreciate the $4.99 super chat. And we're just starting. Y'all got to understand, we're just starting. Like 189 live viewers is in the off season. We're not even in the regular season. Just imagine what happens when their season comes along and things are happening, you know. And it's part of the process. You got to stay consistent. So we're going to continue to be that. We're going to continue to be that. Moonrocker has an answer. He says 0. Ain't no community doing what we're doing. I'll check on it and make sure the tires are good and all that. Facts, Caleb. Facts. And like I said, I will pull out a link. I will put out information. Follow me on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Drop some in my inbox. You know, if you can't, I won't initially get it. But we'll set it up, y'all. I feel like if Kyle doesn't have to worry about that, if we can set it up and have it done, he'll be more inclined to just go along with it and allow us to put the Bama Football on YouTube name attached to it being the undefeated. I think if we organize it and do it at a rate where it's not ghetto, you know what I'm saying? And yes, I'm real. I'm not gonna allow no ghetto stuff. We're gonna have fun, but it's gonna be all within reason, y'all. All within reason. And y'all see how I act up, you know, but I don't disrespect people's spaces. I don't, none of that stuff. I want us to have a great time. And please be able to handle your stuff. Be able to handle it, because I protect my people. You know, I am very protective, and not everybody can handle their liquor. And I don't want nobody approaching my sisters or my aunties or none of that with no drunk stuff and making them feel uncomfortable, because I'm very protective. So let's make sure we doing our part though, handling what we got to handle. Kill Tack 9 says the real Bama channel, Roll Tide, with the $20 super chat, man. Appreciate the love, family. Appreciate the love. Much love, family. For real, much love. And y'all, whoever got the hook up with the steer, we're gonna set it up. We're gonna set it up. Go to Twitter after I get off live, and I'll start the buzz. Make sure that y'all follow the link that I'm gonna post. As a matter of fact, no, I will not post that link there. I will post that link here. I'm gonna post that link here. I'm gonna post the link to the locker room, y'all, right now. I'm gonna post it. Hopefully it shows up right here the correct way. If not, I'll pull the chat up. What y'all feels about our chances with UConn, guys? While we still here doing this last little bit before we close. I think we got a solid opportunity to upset the team. And I'm not being a fan. I'm not sunshine pumping. I think we have a solid opportunity to upset this team. I really do. Antoine, I really feel like we're going to have the craziest offensive performance, offensive night that we've seen from these guys. I really do. And I'm not sunshine pumping, y'all. These are the games where when all the odds are stacked, it's either going to go one way. They're going to come out and they're going to blow us out. Or we're going to surprise the world and really jump out and we're going to win a close one, but it's going to be because they had to fight back to get back in it. I feel like these boys about to be shooting lights out. I don't know what it is. April 5th, we may not do a watch party, but if we do, you know what? That's another thing. We're going to have a meeting about that because that'll be crazy to have, a watch party, maybe not at Houndstooth, but what if we said we was doing a watch party this Saturday, y'all? What if we told y'all tomorrow that we want to do another live watch party at another spot in T-Town and afforded y'all the opportunity to pull up? What if we did that? Who would support that? I'm telling you, I think we can do it. I think 15, 20 y'all will make that drive to T-Town, especially you want the local ones. I really think y'all would. I really do. I think our team's got the energy and found a real groove. Me too, Kill Tag. I just watched the Clemson game again. And the way we played that game never looked flustered. And we experienced spots of adversity, but never looked flustered. This team looks content in who they are. And one big difference, and this is a guy that I've been on heavy because of his lack of production. Grant Nelson has shown me something different these last two games. I've really been impressed with his improvement. I'm feeling it. Antoine, how far is the ride? Nicole, 35 minutes away? And you ain't pulled up yet? And you supposed to be my sister? You see the eyebrow? And you supposed to be my sister? And you ain't pulled up yet? You 35 minutes away? Nor have you given me the opportunity to pull up because I pull up. If you local, I'll pull up. Especially on the weekend. Y'all know I'd be lonely. If I ain't working, I'll pull up. I will hit the road and I will pull up. And now I got a new buddy that I'm gonna be hanging with. Shoot. Somebody that's ready to ride. My nephew already talking about he ready, to assist with the content on the other side. He has a photographer that's trying to get on the scene. Like, telling y'all, we growing. This team's soaking up that Mamba mentality. Joy, I feel it. Walter's the last one to come. Watch him hit 2 threes in this game, bro. He do. I'm telling you, Moonrocker, I think Walters is like our not Stojakovic. You remember the Miami guy? They last strong playoff push. Dang, what's the kid's name? Duncan Robinson, I think his name. That's who Walters remind me of. Duncan Robinson. Like, just let him shoot 8. Give him 8 threes when he come in. Give him the green light this game. Give Walters the green light to just let that mug rip. Tell him to shoot. Don't tell him to look for the pass. Tell him to look for the shot. As a coach, as Nate Oates, if I'm assistant coach, I'm like, if Nate Oates tell me to go in and focus on defending, hey, after we get the ball, you go to your spot. Call for the ball. Be ready to shoot. I don't care if your first one get blocked. Shoot the next one again. Like, shoot. I'm telling you. Duncan Robinson. Yep. That's who Walters remind me of. Oh man, you know what else I love about our channel? How openly we are with discussing race and all that stuff. Like we very respectful of points of views and everything, and terminology and how things are said. I love that you all don't take offense to anything when it comes to talking about culture. Like that's a huge sign of maturity, which gives me more confidence to want to hang with you all on, like, for real. I really appreciate that. A lot of people don't say that. A lot of people want to acknowledge that because it's, you know, quote unquote unprofessional, but I think that's huge. We're realistic here. Let's be real. Look, Auntie Janet, I was just about to say, shoot, hey, Walter's an athlete though. Y'all better watch him. He just timid. He a timid guy. I would hype that man up like crazy before this game. I would hype him up to feel like he the best shooter on the team. I know I would. Being from Albany, Georgia, all I ever hear about from Auburn fans is how they're better at basketball. I'm so ready for us to get a chip. Listen, a national championship, y'all. We beat UConn, I think is ours. We beat UConn, I think is ours. Let me pull up the bracket because I want to look at the new projections today. I got to see what it looked like now. So you got North Carolina State and Purdue, then you got us and Alabama, right? I mean, us and UConn. Wait, the game is on the 6th? I thought it was on the 5th. I thought the game was on the 5th. It's not on the 5th? Oh, man, let me see. Because what's the 6th? Oh, it's Saturday. Oh, so I'm tripping. That's good. That's good. Bet Saturday, because I don't have to travel this weekend. So, yeah. If we do something this Saturday, even if I organize it, you know, with just, you know, Coach outside with Coach Smoot, I think Kyle will be down for another watch party, y'all. I really do. And some of y'all gonna have to just be like, hey, listen, I'm pulling up. For real, y'all just gonna have to forget work. Because if we win Saturday, and look, this time it won't be as wild this time because I will make sure that, you know, I'm more prepared. I was not prepared for that environment, y'all. At Houndstooth, I was not prepared. I'm gonna tell y'all 100%. I was not prepared. I did not expect that much electricity. I did not expect that much love. I did not expect that much recognition and support. I mean, when you're winning, everything's good. But yeah, I did not expect it. I think because it's UConn, I think more should show up. I think more will show up. That's just my personal take. I think more will show up. More should show up. So the game is Saturday at 7 p.m. Hey, so you know what's crazy? Antoine, you get off at 7. Listen, I'm gonna help you make your plans, Antoine. I know we played a late one though, don't we? Let me look at the bracket. I think we played a late one. And then Purdue. What time Purdue play? I would love to have NC State in the Final Four. Oh, they play first. See? I like that. So it's kind of the setup as was outside with them college. Listen, Auntie, I was outside with them college children. And you know what? I didn't feel like I was in college, like, because I was still aware of the fact that these young kids were getting like twisted. They were getting twisted. And I was a little up there, but I wasn't twisted. Y'all see my energy. That's me. That's me all the time. Especially, we just won the first Final Four, but a lot of them was twisted, man. I mean, so watching, I'm watching. I'm enjoying them. I'm actually living through a lot of them. Like some of the stuff that was happening. I'm not shy when I get in those moments, so it's easy to have fun. Oh, snap. I just got to come in and sell a car real quick Saturday morning. And, oh, that's one. So you might be able to link up for pregame. You know, you a big car salesman. So, Caleb, you thinking Bama NC in the finals? Oh, y'all get me hyped. So, I think we could tentatively go ahead and pencil in the Saturday link up, right? Whether we go to, I don't think I would care to be on campus if I got more people with me. Because for me and Kyle to be in there, that was awesome. Like, if we were doing a group, right, I would need like 6 people to show up with me because tables, chairs get taken, like, and I ain't trying to be a bully. You get what I'm saying? That's just not my mentality. But I am protective of my people. Ask Kyle. When he came in, I gave him my seat. You know, and they took the other stools. Some females took it. I ain't tripped. I felt like I was being security. I was being the junior producer. I was being the reporter. I was doing everything because that's just my mentality. I like to take care of my people. Oh man, listen, hey, Jor, hey, if listen, what if we win? What if we beat UConn? We hop in the whips and we take a road trip to Auburn. We get down to Auburn and we doggone hit Toomer's Corner and we throw, like, what do we do? Do we do toilet tissue? What do we do? We wouldn't do toilet paper. It would have to be something different. No, it will be toilet paper. It will be toilet paper because we are the Roll Tide. And they always like to use that little, what if we took, see, then we'll be on some Harvey Updike stuff. I was going to say put some laundry detergent around. Well, laundry detergent, right? What's up? Y'all remember that? I had to go and clip that. I'm going to post it. If we lose to UConn, we will have likely lost to the eventual national champion while playing as a top 4 in both basketball and football. That'll be Kyle Walker with the freaking stat of the day, the statement of the day, the finding of the day. But we're not selling for that, Kyle. That is a good point, though, that Alabama only loses to eventual champions. Have y'all noticed that? Teams that we lose to in football usually win the national championship. The last few teams that we've lost to in basketball the last 2 years, I think San Diego State was last year, and they went to play for the national championship, right? So it's a good thing. Grayson Littleton said, I'm at Penn State today. Enjoy your visit, man. And so I love supporting these kids on their journey, man. That's going to be crazy, man. Smook, who is John McNulty? Bama just hired him. I don't know. That's news to me, Deshaun. John McNulty. Is he like on the media team or something? Coach J Mac. I just followed him on Twitter too. I don't know who he is, y'all, but I'm about to find out. John McNulty. Looks like is he some recruiting or something? Is he in recruiting? He just got hired. Coach J Mac. You know what? I've seen him around the campus though, a few times. He's an offensive assistant on the staff. He's an offensive assistant. So it looks like we're going to have to do some research today. He's an analyst. Yeah, it says offensive assistant is going to be his official title. Yeah. Now, he's a football coach. Weber? Oh, I'm sorry. Kyle Weber. I'm sorry. I can't see you. I'm sorry, brother. I am so sorry. Your music leading twin from Twitter. Finally made. Okay. You finally made an actual show. That's what's up, man. You the worship leader. Okay, Kyle. Appreciate you, man. Webcam. Mr. Webb. I know who it is now. Appreciate you for pulling up, man. He was Rutgers offensive coordinator. Okay. They saying he's going to be an offensive assistant. That's what his Twitter says, offensive assistant, and the email that just came through from the media, Alabama media, says offensive assistant. So yeah, analyst assistant, whatever. Congrats to our staff. That means we're just adding more. Y'all, can y'all remember this much attention on the quality of staff that we have? That's going to be something we talk about tonight after we talk to our recruits. So jump back on tonight. I think you got Coach Jay at 6, and then you got me at 7 closing the night out. Shows will be like very precise this week. I'm telling y'all right now. Shows this week will be very precise. We won't go over time. I did say I just had good conversation to kind of close it out. But tonight, we're playing. Juju is not going to be able to make it tonight, but we do have 2 more guys. And I'm telling y'all, Lincoln Cure, if we can get him, that'd be awesome. I'm working to get another name, Dejon Lee, somebody else that you all are excited about. Nashawn Montgomery might be available for a while. So we'll just watch my Twitter. Like I said, I posted Discord app. You come in Discord, and we'll be able to set up the meeting for this weekend if we want to do watch parties together. We'll have a watch party together, or and also the A-Day and all that stuff. Thank you all for being a part of this Bama family. I can't wait to see all of you. All the days are coming. Stay safe so that we all can make it to see each other. And on this Tuesday, strive to continue to be great. And that's in whatever you're doing. Like, really make an intentional effort, with all the things that are happening, with all of life that's happening. Make an intentional effort to strive to be great at something. Whether it's your response to negativity, whether it's taking another step towards a goal, whether it's financial, mental, spiritual. Make an intentional effort to be great and strive to be great in what you're doing. All right, that's my encouragement for you all. I'm Coach Smoop, at Coach Smoop on every platform. Bama Football on YouTube, recruiting insider, team reporter, and director of player personnel. I will catch y'all tonight at 7 p.m. Pop in at 6 p.m. with Coach Jantz, Jet 716, the fan reaction segment. And make sure y'all supporting the whole channel. Appreciate all the fan funders. We appreciate all the members. And every super chatter, every person that comment, that like. Make sure y'all run the like up on the way out. And shout out to our sponsors, RogueShop.com, residence in Ocean City, Maryland. And also Demetrius Maynard of the Maynard Group. We appreciate you all. And I'm out. It's your boy Coach Smook, and I'm going to leave y'all with a big roll tide roll. Y'all be easy, man.